and welcome everyone. Today is a new day. We have the Sabbath of the 30th of September 2023. And I'm joined with Michael here on Skype. And Michael has taken the liberty in Christ to put together a script for us today. And it is a surprise to me, and I am pleasantly surprised, Michael.
Yes.
Welcome.
Hi, Brett. Thanks for welcoming me. Thanks for taking the time once again. I do not know how much sessions we have been made in a couple years. I think we are 200, 300, I do not know. When we have stopped with that Bruce Lee stuff, and we have stopped so far the science is the new religion stuff, I came across the idea just to make a session for having something for every listener outside to participate in it, to make his own thoughts and not to be so crucified, so to speak, to any script. So these are my thoughts of it. What do we actually know and what do we assume? And can it be that history is all an illusion? You see that in science is the new religion. We have found out that many of the so-called things or truth or so-called facts are nothing else than indoctrination. But what about the story of an artist like Bruce Lee? What about the story of a singer called Phil Collins? What about the story of the United States? What do we actually know? All that we know is being taught to us in the public school by the state itself. But I think that it can hardly be the truth. So therefore I welcome you to my thoughts about it, and I would like to see your thoughts about it, that you really start to think on your own and do your own research.
Oh, Michael, I would just love to make a comment on what you just said.
Yeah, please.
You know, being raised in the educational system, being part of a church, I'm speaking about my own background. I was part of a Lutheran church in Minneapolis. It was called St. Luke's Lutheran Church. I think it was on 38th and I can't remember the exact address, but right down the street from George Floyd. Very, 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 very close proximity to the very epicenter of this problem we have in the States that is actually worldwide. And we can all relate to this problem. But this educational system, there are exceptions to the rule. There generally is what Michael's saying is true, that most of our teachers are indoctrinated themselves, but don't rule this out, that there are teachers that know about this and are working against it. So it goes both ways. Don't forget. Generally speaking, though, the core curriculum, of course, is Jesuit controlled, and no one questions that. But there are exceptions to the rule. And, you know, I had some really exceptionally good teachers in the school system, believe it or not, but they weren't that frequent. There were only a few, just a handful, if that. So I think, Michael, I don't know if you can relate with this or not, but here in the States, there were some good teachers here and there, and there were a lot of awful ones.
Yeah, I hope so.
Yeah, that's right. So. But it's interesting. I have an older brother, right? So he went to the same school as I did, and he would always tell me in advance who the best teachers were. So I had it easy, Michael. I didn't have to break the ice. My brother broke the ice, and I just picked up the pieces, you know. But yeah, that's kind of generally how it works. You know, if you're the eldest of the family, then you bear the brunt of the lot of, or if you're single, like I think, Michael, you don't have a brother or sister, correct?
Yes, that's correct.
You're an only child, and this is very common in Europe. It's less common here. We have bigger families in the States.
I see.
It's just the norm here. Is, you know, at least in the older, you know, I'd say 60s, 70s, 80s, maybe into the 90s, and maybe even somewhat today in certain instances. But certainly it's gotten to be more along the lines of Europe now, where families generally don't have children anymore. They're not wanted, which is really sad, because and that's the thing. If I'm not a parent, but I would imagine, being a parent, you have to give up on your control. You want to have some kind of control over the outcome of your child, but really, you have no say in that. And unfortunately, the school system, the way it is presented now, they're literally taking the children away from the parents. Literally. I mean, what kind of day and age is it we live in? I mean, this is why, Michael, his story, the history, yes, it can be an illusion if you allow it to be. In other words, if you're, going the natural way and you just ignore it, well, you're in big trouble, I'm sorry to say. Ignorance is not bliss when it comes to history. Right, Michael?
Yes, but I'm just beginning to think that it's just appropriate to do so, because I don't want to go all this research forever and ever on any artist, because the absolutely mandatory rule is that you have to serve Satan in this world to make it big. So therefore, everybody who's making it big time has to serve Lucifer-Satan. So that's the common rule. So therefore, I think that it's quite logical to stop any satanic media agenda or what else, because if you have really seen this exact scheme everywhere all around, you know that the Bible is correct. And that's also the sole purpose of the entire sessions, that we just point the finger to the Bible and said, you see, you can look it up for yourself, and we have shown you on so many occasions that it's really the Bible is correct, and that every other thing which is running in this secular world is just mostly BS. So, where is it? Where is it? Where is it? Where is it? So in my humble opinion, it's mostly an illusion. So that's in the same case as in science. It's mostly an illusion, because if you set the rules and you set the people in a certain frame, in a frame set that everybody happens randomly, that it's been 10 million, 12 billion, what else years ago, you can make up any fairy tale. And I think that in the case of all these actors and artists and all the stuff, when we really think about these politicians, these experts, these scientists, these sportsmen, these singers, these actors, as all being actors actually, then we have to come across the fact that it's just this magic lantern, this movie projector, which is just totally blinding us, or just is the so-called an image of the beast also. That is not an invention from the Jesuit Athanasius Kircher, but it was him who had gained a widespread influence of this magic lantern. As we tried it out as children, thumb cinema, so you can, if you have a very, very rapid frequency of more than 25 pictures per second, then you see it as a moving picture, so therefore a movie. So the Jesuits used it to distract the people, so that they are also the inventors of cinema then, so that this big art, this ars magna lucis and ambre, the art of light and shadow, which we talked about in the Bruce Lee sessions, I'm not going into this again, this actually is a deception in its own, because then you see deceased people as if they were alive. So when this is not sorcery, I have to ask you, Brett, what is it? It's sorcery. So
yeah. Speaking of sorcery, Michael, you brought up something that I've never really thought about till just now. Just in the past week, I've been thinking about this word, sigil. Mm-hmm. I've never heard this word before. Well, sigil happens to be part of what you just mentioned.
Mm-hmm.
these wicked things that if you really have faith in Christ, you should not be associated with, right, Michael?
What I meant then was seal, of course, but I came across the fact that there was a sigil of Lucifer, and so I said sigil on a purpose because it was.
Yeah. Well, that has to do with magic.
Yeah.
Okay, so this is a magic lantern. So sigil comes into play here because sigil is something that's esoteric. It's not exoteric. You don't learn about sigils in school, or wait. Maybe you do now, but they're just not telling you.
Yeah,
See, that's where this whole education system has come and ended. And
this
now
this is entertainment also. This is just to
look
entertain
at
the people.
Checkered floor here.
Interesting, huh? Yes. See, that's what I want to achieve. That people, I don't reveal it. Oh, look at the checkered floor. You see it for yourself then. See it for yourself the way it is.
They're not playing checkers on the checkerboard floor.
Yeah, what is really interesting, because when I look at chess, for example, I also have this checkerboard, white and black. But it's really interesting because chess also is a game for intelligent people. But on the same hand, it forces you into a frame. Because you're only allowed to use this combination. You're only allowed to play this game that way. It has strict
rules, I think.
Yeah, you have strict rules, yes.
Strict rules, and you have to obey the rules or the game is done. You lose.
Yes. So I thought, okay, when everything is connected, as I said, as we said the last, I think it was 2 sessions, then every event also is related to this. So if they present you on the big screen, any sportsman, any actors or any politician, it does not make any difference, because this is all just a Jesuitical play. This is all just sorcery and deception. So my thought about is the following. We do not know anything. Why spend your time with Bruce Lee? Because Bruce Lee just served as a prime example that nothing is as it seems. Also, his story of Bruce Lee must not necessarily be correct. So what's the sense in that session, actually? The sense is that everybody please do your own research and everybody please try to use common sense. We do not know anything. Because if we assume that the media being controlled by the Jesuits and the Roman Catholic Church, then we only get filtered, censored information. So it does not make sense to believe everything that broad media, the mass media, is presenting to you, because most likely it is an illusion. Because if I really go into this, everything can be an illusion. And I'll tell you why on the example of the French Revolution. Yeah, which is very interesting, because just draw this apart. So the French evolution, evolution is the same as revolution without an R. So the evolution or the revolution was a series of riots and executions in France, instigated by the Jesuits, that followed the American Revolution and was aimed to put dictator Napoleon Bonaparte in power, who was a Freemason and a Jesuit at the same time. So that is not what your usual teacher would tell you. And it's also not important. More important is that nothing happens randomly. So there is a script running behind that most of us cannot see because they don't read the Bible. If you read the Bible, you know that the kings of the earth has, can you help me out? The kings of the earth have set counsel together.
Yes.
Against the Lord and his anointed.
Psalms chapter 2, yes.
Yes.
The kings of the earth have gathered. Let me look it up so I don't stumble here, because I'll get it wrong if I try and do it from my memory, because I know my memory is not always working right in the morning. Why do the heathen rage and the people imagine a vain thing?
Mm-hmm. Yeah,
Psalm
that's it.
2.
That's it, yes.
The kings of the earth set themselves, and the rulers take counsel together against the Lord. They're not with the Lord. Far from it. They're against the Lord, and especially against his anointed, saying, "Let us break their bands asunder and cast away their cords from away from us. Get them out of here. Let's just break them all up.
So
Let's destroy them."
when they counsel together against the Lord and against his anointed, what is the title of Jesus Christ when it comes about real events? He is called in John 8:12
The anointed one, yes.
the anointed one. Yeah, so that is Jesus Christ, or Yeshua HaMashiach, if you would like to have it this way. Yeah,
Absolutely.
so in John 8:12 he says, "I am the light of the world," and in John 14:6 Jesus points out and said, "I am the truth." So the kings of the earth sat together, and the rulers take counsel together against God and the truth. That's another translation from me, quite freely taken now. But so they're all against the truth, which is Jesus Christ. When Jesus Christ is the truth and they are against Jesus Christ, being the anointed, so they're against the truth. So you get nothing but lies from the people. So when it comes down to the French Revolution, it has been sent out or been set up actually by Freemasons, Jesuit Church, the Pope. It's always the same people in the background, or the deep state.
Oh, pathetic.
So these are all only actors. Catholic priests, Society of the Friends of the Black, Robespierre, Jesuit, and
Michael,
all these people behind it.
The deep state term is just it's for people that can't say Jesuit,
Yeah.
or the Catholic Church, or the hierarchy of the Catholic Church,
Or just pagans who do not believe in any God and any counseling.
Well,
and
it's a
all this
religious problem, Michael. It exists all over the face of the earth now.
Mhm.
And you can't dare say anything about it because you're going to offend someone.
stuff. Yeah, but this is my point. You see that when everything has been said and done after the behind the curtain, or what else you would like to use as a kind of a phrase.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, you see, there's always the same characters. And I think that is no exception in the part of the French Revolution, or in the moon landing, or in the Bruce Lee stuff.
American Revolution, too, yeah.
Yeah, American Revolution as well.
Absolutely.
Or American state.
You have the first president of the United States.
Yes. And
Totally Jesuit controlled.
But in the school system, you will be told that the French Revolution and then democracy took its place all over the world, and the victory of the people, then the power of the people, and all that BS.
That's right. That's right.
But
It's
this is just the
another
illusion.
Yes.
History is the illusion. This is the illusion.
That
It's been
is the illusion,
sold as truth in your school hierarchical school system, in kindergarten, in the universities, and in the television all over the place, that there's a blind sheep, go to the votes, and then you vote blue or red. Great.
Yeah, you don't have a choice
You
whether
don't
you're
have a
going to
choice.
believe this or not. You have to believe it because it's mainstream.
Yeah. Only dead fish swim with the stream, I have been told. Yeah, but what do I know?
That's it. That's it.
What do I know? Yeah, you see,
Stinking dead fish. Yeah.
I'm just reciting here that website, which is very excellent when it comes down to history, which is very terrible when it comes down to faith, because the authors of that site, allreligionsareone.org, and they just don't believe in any God, but they just claim that there was a pre-Adamitic creation and all that stuff. But it's really good
Michael,
to see.
they just don't have the balls to say it like it is because they don't have the faith.
Yes, and so maybe it's also maybe a distraction on a high level, so that you're being taught all the right things, and when it comes down to faith, then you're being taught not the right things on purpose. Who knows? Yeah. So, but I'm just trying to use that page to see all the connections. That spares me thousands of hours of research. Who's who and who's connected with whom? Yeah, but it's always the same people. Yeah, these are religious ties behind that smiling face of the state. Yeah, so Louis XVI was decapitated on the 21st of January on the Place de la Révolution, Place de la Concorde. Remember? The movie company of Bruce Lee has been called Concorde, huh? As a symbolic revenge for Templar Jacques de Molay. Yeah, so now I ask you. So this news is coming from the year 1793. In 1793, the Jesuits were empowered by the Roman Pope for more than 250 years. What is the truth? I wasn't there. I can only rely to newspapers or to book readings and all the stuff if actually really that Louis XVI was decapitated there. Maybe it was a doppelganger. What do I know? This is just his story. This is just story, and it can be an illusion. I can't prove anything. I would not dare to say nowadays, because I am not about giving false witness. I don't know. I wasn't there. Maybe somebody was decapitated, maybe it was a puppet, maybe it was him, maybe it was another guy, maybe it did not take place. I don't know. Maybe they needed some official theater outside that everybody can see, yeah, we have beaten the monarchy.
Mm-hmm.
So if you know that it's all just a Jesuitical theater, I can really take no stand for any probable solution of it, because I wasn't there, and the Bible forbids in the 10 Commandments to give false witness. So I don't believe anything. At my point of research, I am sorry to tell everybody that I don't believe anything, and I'm really fed up about all the history, because mostly it's all totally wrong or not complete, or what else. I don't know. Yeah, 16 execution of 16,000 people. Maybe that is correct. Maybe that is not correct. Maybe that was another girl. Maybe that was another guy. Who knows? And it's not important either. Important is that you see there is an agenda behind it. That's not the people who are in power, but the Freemasons, the Jesuits, the Roman Catholic Church, and all the same guys all over the place. And it was there in 1793 as well as in 2023. These are 230 years difference to that French Revolution. But what else has changed? It's always the same people around. The United States is a country founded in 1776, yeah, but it existed a few hundred years ago, and that was known also from the papers. You really believe that they have sent, or on behalf of the Spanish Queen, they have sent 3 precious ships with somebody who could not navigate? I'm too stupid to navigate. Where is north? Where is east? Where is south? Where is west? I'm sorry, I'm just making fun of it now, but do you really believe?
It is laughable.
It is laughable.
It is laughable in terms of really knowing your history. That's the problem, Michael. They talk about dumbing down. This happened long ago. The very beginnings of dumbing down probably was 1776 as far as the United States.
You get rewards for just repeating the same old lies from the textbooks. You get a reward, you get a good grade, and you will make it in this world. But don't dare to ask any questions. Yeah, so this system is just indoctrinating young children into becoming programmed adults. That's what it does. Okay, there are some benefits too, that you read, that you learn some languages or learn mathematics and all the stuff. Okay, I'll give it this. But in physics, in chemistry, in history, I'm sorry. Come on, there is so much BS around this. So, the website here states that the United States is governed by the Jesuits from Washington District of Columbia. One of their biggest universities, of course, Georgetown, with propaganda made in the Hollywood film industry, where, of course, Bruce Lee is taking its part in it. Media industry, music industry, 65, so 2/3 almost of the Americans are indoctrinated with the Southern cult Christianity, which is Catholicism in many disguises. Yeah. So, history of the United States, and that may be very interesting, but actually what it is that America was being long known before, because America, or the continent as well, has been explored, discovered close to the year 1000 by a Norwegian, if I remember correctly. Yeah, Leif Erikson, yeah. That's also only the official history, so that is his story of Wikipedia. Yeah. It was a Norse explorer who is thought to be the first European to set foot on the continental North America. So that means that maybe there were other people from Asia who did it way before. I do not know. Approximately half a millennium before Christopher Columbus did. In 1492, Columbus sailed the ocean too. Yeah, you see that close to 500 years before, according to that mythical legend of Leif Erikson, Leif the Lucky One, yeah, he discovered the American continent. So that the powers to be in Europe, they knew exactly, oh, there is an unknown big part of a land which we could also conquer.
Oh, yeah. Isn't that interesting? If you look at the statue, what is he wearing?
Yeah. And you see that I don't know if he really existed, but the thing is that they had foreknowledge, and it was Lord Christopher Columbus just discovering anything. But that story of Christopher Columbus, that was the story that I have been told in school more than 40 years ago.
Isn't that interesting that statue is in Duluth, Minnesota?
I'm so sorry with that. I'm so sorry. I have not looked it up.
I should go visit it and make a session out of it.
Yeah, maybe.
You could join me. We could do a Skype session live.
Yeah. And that's the thing. That's the thing. You see that if that is just what Wikipedia is.
Yeah, that's great. Thank you for that.
That is what Wikipedia is admitting. But maybe there were some Asian guys, or who knows, who was just on a discovery and who said that maybe a few 100 years ago they knew that America was a continent, because when you look at the Bible, you know that the continent, that the drift of the continents has also been described there. So everybody who looked into the Bible must assume that there was something, that there was some land behind Spain, for example, west of Spain or so. So this is what they only officially are admitting. It has nothing to do with the truth. You see that I can't prove this. Also, I have to believe this. But I have been told in school that it was Christopher Columbus who sailed the ocean blue and who was just by accident discovering the American continent because he wanted to go to India. Therefore, he called the inhabitants of America Indians. Yeah, and I think that 90 point somewhere of the people there will fall for that lie. And you see that you can go on, but you have to believe the one or the other, and maybe all are lying. I don't know.
Well, you know, that brings about another.
Look at this. Of course, with the X. Yeah, he's Norse. He's Norse.
But it brings about another little fact that a author that we're familiar with, the one that wrote the 2 volumes on the Antichrist. This let me go in the other room and grab the book so I don't mess this up.
Mm-hmm.
Ronald N.C. Cook.
Mm-hmm.
Or I shouldn't say N.C. Ronald N. Cook. Yes, Ronald N. Cook. Antichrist Exposed, the Reformed and Puritan View of the Antichrist, Volume 1 and 2. Yeah, this author said in an interview with Chris Pinto that our history is told from the standpoint of those who conquered you.
Mm-hmm.
United States, you've been conquered. Do you realize that? No, of course not. Of course you don't, because you don't acknowledge the fact that we're living in the Roman age. It hasn't changed.
Yeah, worse than that. Let's call us the Antichrist age.
Sure.
Yeah, so it's also then when you say
replacement. It's all about replacing Christ.
Yeah, when you say Antichrist, you can also exchange Christ with the truth. So you can say anti-truth, so against the truth.
Against the truth, yeah. Against the cornerstone, the chief cornerstone that was rejected, you see?
Mm-hmm.
It's in the Bible.
So that's my point, actually, that you really see that you can start all over again, but you have to believe, because we weren't there. You weren't there in 1765 or in where else? Boston Tea Party boycott.
See, that's what the spirit of Satan is just laughing his diabolical fanny on right now.
Yeah.
He's got the whole world believing a lie right now.
Yeah, you see, it's all over the place, everywhere. Yeah, San Francisco, there we are at Bruce Lee's birthplace, or alleged birthplace. You see that you can question everything. Yeah, and you got a Freemason as your first president. Welcome. You see that It's beyond absurd.
Oh yeah.
It's beyond, yeah. Jesuit puppet Napoleon. Where else do you want to go? You see that Russell.
You want to be on top, then become a Jesuit, then, huh?
Yeah,
it's really that simple.
Or just to become a Freemason to get the entrance card in it, and you can disguise as being a Protestant by name only. Yeah.
Oh, they have no problem with equivocation and mental reservation. It's very common.
Yeah.
Just ask Anthony Fauci; he'll tell you all about it.
I think that he will shut himself, but you see that you know them by the fruits.
Well, he's teaching at Georgetown University right now.
Yeah. So Pearl Harbor ritual. You see that all things that you believe to be truth are actually rituals. World War I, World War II rituals. Yeah, for the setting the state of the nation state of Israel. Yeah, it's all rituals. Yeah, the Vietnam War is a religious ritual, if you would like to say so. 9/11 Sharon Tate ritual, the Vietnam War, Iraq, the 9/11 Twin Towers ritual. It's all ritual. Yeah, COVID-19, it's all a ritual. But ritual always means ritualistic, means it has a religious background in it.
Yes, that's right.
Yeah,
a religious rite. Yeah, R-I-T-E. Mm-hmm.
Yeah, and you see that even your bright shining stars, the president who would have it absolutely correct, who was a Jesuit and was a Knight of Columbus at the same time. Then think about it. Yeah, he was a Jesuit because they had a family Jesuit Bible. And come on, don't explain me that John F. Kennedy is the yeah, but my problem really is that
John F. Kennedy.
These are all actors. These are all actors. John Kennedy promised you to crash the CIA into 1,000 pieces. You have to believe this because your president promised you. And whenever has any president
How about
not
the
kept
speech about the monolithic conspiracy?
Yeah.
What about that? Who wrote that speech? I wonder.
Yes, and I wonder what led to the conclusion that we will point a man to the moon. Yeah.
Oh, sure. Yeah. I think that's pretty obvious.
That's pretty obvious, huh?
Yeah.
Yeah, so that is an illusion. You see that? Look into this picture. This picture I found this morning. I found hilarious.
Good. Yes.
Yeah. You see, they are masters in deception. Yeah, you can't figure this out here. It's impossible with your senses. Because it's tricking you.
Mm-hmm.
It's tricking you, I think. Yeah, so if you want to know more about American history, I would advise to you Rulers of Evil, because I don't want to be a parroting machine here. Yeah, but it was just an example that history is all just a matter of belief, whom to believe. And of course, it's the most convenient way to just believe the state, because then you get the reward. But if you really focus about it, when we go into this strange book of Engineer's Corps of Hell, or in other books of Charles Chiniquy, where we read the following quote, Brett.
See, sir, from this chamber I govern not only Paris, but China. And not only China, but all the world, without anyone knowing how I do it.
Yes, and this coming officially from...
Talk about a, what would you call that, control freak?
Yes, but you see that is 70-20. So if that quote is correct, it's not only way before Bruce Lee, but it's also way before the American United States have been founded and the French Revolution. So you see that when they control everything, and in 70-20 they had more than 250 years. Yeah, since 180 years. Sorry, 180 years. Oh, very interesting. Yeah, you see that they have been founded, the Jesuits, in 1540. Recognized, founded a little bit before 1534. But then there were 180 years later. Yeah, so 180 years later. Yeah, 666. Yeah, years later in 70-20. This quote can be found in several books. Among one of them.
Well, technically it's 60-60-60, but you get the point, right?
Sure, but yeah, you know what I mean. What I wanted to point out there. You see, and this is also can be found in this book here, 50 Years in the Church of Rome by Charles Chiniquy. But what do I know if Charles Chiniquy is correct or just controlled opposition? I don't know. But maybe it's just only boasting, but I don't know. But you see it please logically. If that is correct, that the Jesuits are ruling everything from one chamber, which of course can only be Rome, all roads lead to Rome, then they also are governing the United States. But if you are a believer of Jesus Christ, John 14:6, in being the truth, yeah.
Michael, have you read 50 Years in the Church of Rome by Charles Chineke?
No.
You haven't?
No.
Well, let me tell you, Charles Chineke was a Catholic. He became Protestant. Strong Protestant. I don't think he was controlled opposition.
That would validate that quote.
I don't think so. I've read his book.
Yeah.
Anyone that's read his book,
we can never know. You
man,
see, only God knows who's right and who's wrong.
Well,
yeah?
I know. I'm just saying that more than likely,
yeah, okay,
that's the case.
Yeah,
That's
I take
where
it.
I'm at.
Yeah, I take it as your opinion. Yeah, but you see that you have to start to question everything. Yeah, just only if it serves the purpose that you just have a free mind, that you just see all the things from a different perspective than.
Well, Michael, you said don't do your own research.
Yes,
and I have. And I've read that book extensively, and I'm just saying that it's very unlikely.
Yeah, so that would fit. Then this quote will fit most likely.
Yeah, right.
Okay, so that means that that quote has been said in 1720, more than 50 years before your American United States have been founded, officially at least, and more than 70 years before the French Revolution. Most likely.
See, this is the very problem with Jesuitism to begin with, and that's why everyone keeps going back and forth on, I wonder if he's Jesuit. I wonder if he's Jesuit. Oh, they're Jesuit. Oh, yeah, they're Jesuit. Oh, they profess to be Protestants, so they're Jesuit, you see.
Mm-hmm. My thing is just that I have to question everything, every quote, everything. So to have a free mind and just only to concentrate on the Bible,
yeah,
because
but the problem is, Michael, the problem is that it's too strict.
Well, you see that everybody has his own individual approach, and my approach is
Yes.
that I have to question everything, and so that I'm glad that you wrote that book entirely, and your verification is that author is authentic.
Protestant, yeah.
Okay.
He's Protestant.
Okay. So
in his doctrine, yes.
Yeah, okay, so then we take it as granted. That means that the United States have been founded on the basement of Freemasonry as a disguise.
Absolutely.
As a disguise of the Jesuits, okay? But
right.
then it means the following logical conclusion, in my humble opinion. Logic, if your enemy, yeah, of course, Jesuits, Roman Catholic Church, they just all fall under Psalms 2:2, the kings of the earth, and etc., and the father of lies, yeah? If your enemy has created your United States of America, then your state is the enemy.
Yeah, the United States of America is the beast.
At least you can't logically assume that your history lessons will be the correct ones or the truth, yeah? Because even your state has been governed by the Jesuits or the Roman Catholic Church from the beginning. So that is my point, yeah. So that it's no wonder that they will come out with so much false allegations and so much false history, because it's their story. It's not history.
Yeah.
It's their
Correct.
story.
Right.
Yeah.
They claim to own it. Yeah.
Yeah, and so that is my point. So I don't believe anything, and I don't know anything because I wasn't there. Everybody can be set up. You see, when Lincoln has been shot, it may be authentic, but it happened in a theater.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. So what do I know? What is right and what is wrong? What do I know? You see that I can't know anything, and it is also not a valid information if Bruce Lee's death occurred this way or the other way, or is Stalin really dead? Has been poisoned or not? Is Hitler really dead, or has he been flown out to Argentina or what else? Who cares actually? Because these are just only puppets. In the end, these are all humans and these are just puppets. And I just found this picture of all three of them doing the same gesture, and that is no coincidence. So who cares? I only care for the agenda, who is behind it. Yeah. So what do I know? Maybe James Dean has been set up as an idol. They want to get rid of him, or maybe what else? Yeah, I do not know if that story which we talked about is authentic. Yeah, there was a
Right.
trial and all the stuff, but you have to question everything.
Yeah, that's right. That's right. I think it's much more fitting in the sense when you're talking about entertainment. There's so much more room for betrayal and equivocation and mental reservation. I mean, that's what you learn as an actor, don't you?
Yes, and they need these young, innocent-looking, fresh actors and all the stuff to make an idol out of them, so that these people will be worshipped. Yeah, so this is also replacement of Christ. When somebody has put a T-shirt on him, "Disciples of James Dean." Come on. Yeah, it's very obvious. You see all this posts. We have talking about this. Yeah, and this is a fake picture here, most likely, with Elvis Presley. And you see that this is just the BS that your television puts out in front of you and your children. This
Right.
is just entertainment. You see that in the end, it's not important how James Dean died. Yeah, it's important to see the agenda that James Dean was the idol for the people in the West and Bruce Lee was an idol for the people in the East. That's all I care. And one connection grid on it is, for example, this guy here.
Gig Young.
Gig Young, yeah, because he interviewed James Dean, yeah, which came officially from the set of Giants here with his cowboy hat and his long hair and what else, yeah. And this Gig Young also then happens to be an actor later in the Game of Death, 1978. And then few days after he officially married his new wife, he shot his wife and he shot himself. So if you question this, maybe he knew something was going on and he couldn't stop talking because officially he was alcoholic. Yeah, nobody knew. Maybe he was a risk, security risk or what else, and maybe they have to get rid of him. I do not know. But
Right,
he's
right.
a connecting rod between James Dean and Bruce Lee, for example. Yeah, and it's just where all the mess starts, yeah, because you see that after James Dean died and before Bruce Lee went on the scene, there was an encyclical letter of His So-Called Holiness Pius XII, which was then the nice Pope, just before Kennedy arrived the scene. He said Miranda Prosus, which means
Oh, the nice Pope, yeah.
The-
Hitler's Pope.
the wonderful invention it means. This encyclical letter of the papacy is about the television. I quote it here. Of these inventions, some increase and multiply the strengths and powers of men, others improve their conditions of life, while others, and these particular concern the mind, reach the masses of people themselves either directly or through the pictures and sounds they produce and convey them in a form easy to understand the news, thoughts and usage of every nation, and by these means provide, as it were, food for the mind, especially during the hours of rest and recreation. With regard of the last type of invention in our age, the greatest impetus have been received by the arts connected with motion pictures, radio and television. So once again, I have to question. Yeah, so in the papacy in 1957 realized the importance of television as food for the mind, and when your state, the entire state and the entire world is in the Antichrist spirit, except the few ones who are in the Holy Spirit, yeah, then what kind of a food for their mind is it actually? Yeah, you only have to exchange the word "the" with "their," yeah, because we're speaking of the masses, yeah, and the masses are the Antichrist spirit. So of course you get Western where people has been shot. Of course, you get criminal gangsters and movies where people have been killed and all the alike. Yeah, for the minds. So food for the minds. Yeah, so I have to question everything. I have to question. In the end, I have to question everything. First example would be Marilyn Monroe. Marilyn Monroe has been very prominently used because happy birthday, Mr. President. Her asthmatic problem with the celebration message of the birthday of Mr. John F. Kennedy, which went on the air and was a kind of a scandal. Afterwards, she did not get any recognition, and a few weeks after, certain months after, she died by a barbiturate overdose, if you believe that. on August the 4th, 1962, she died at the age of 36. Yeah, you have to believe that, yeah, because, of course, she is an actress. The problem is that if, for example, that picture here has nothing to do, in my humble opinion, and the opinion of some other researchers, with Marilyn Monroe. And so, nobody knows anything. I can only tell you one thing, or some things of her, that you maybe see it from another perspective. I think that we can all agree on the fact that she is an actress. And she lived at 1305 Fifth Helena Drive in Brentwood. 1, 2, 3 plus 5 is
11.
Of course. Yeah, and of course it must be in California. Where else? Yeah, because it is Hollywood. And Marilyn Monroe, of course, yeah, MM means?
Master Mason.
Yes, and 33.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, so it's not important how she died, if she died, but which agenda is behind it. Yeah, so Marilyn Monroe kills herself and she needed 40 pills, but I think that there was no glass of water and all the stuff. If you go really into this, you really think that is correct? Yeah, then I'm sorry, I don't believe anything that the media is presenting me. Yeah, for the first part, she's called Marilyn Monroe, so there's a Mary in it. Yeah, so Mary, maybe it has something to do with another thing about the Monroe Doctrine, or the Mary and Lincoln and Monroe. Maybe, just maybe. So what did she do before? Yeah, there is a really interesting song of the Hollies, I think, What a Fool Believes. And I don't believe anything of it, because she was an actress. And this is her in the Korea War in the beginning of the 1950s in front of United States Army soldiers. That's a great side of war. Huh? This is promotion, of course. And she was nothing else, in my humble opinion, as an United States Army asset. Quite alike Sharon Tate. Because she also was connected to Lookout Mountain. Yeah, close by Laurel Canyon. Jim Morrison, Janis Joplin, Frank Zappa, Beach Boys, the Eagles, of course the Roman Eagles, yeah, David Crosby, Joni Mitchell, the Byrds, the Monkees, etc., etc., etc. And a certain Mr. Paul Rothschild had his house on Lookout Mountain, and produces the doors for Elektra Records. Must be a coincidence, yeah? So, but the problem is that Lookout Mountain and all the stuff is just propaganda. And when she is on the United States airplane going to Korea, Mrs. Marilyn Monroe, you can assume that she needs a United States Army clearance. So she is keeper of some secrets. So she's an army asset. That's what she is. And she's an actress. That's what she is. Nobody would disagree. She is an actress. So what to believe when you call yourself a wrong name, Marilyn Monroe, MM33, you have a house which is summing up to 11, when you have been going to war in Korea to promote war. Yeah, so she's an army asset. But speaking of 1962, what happened on the other side? Oh, on the other side there was a young boy racing in Hong Kong. Yeah, and that boy was going on a Catholic/Jesuitical school from 1955 to 1958. That college is called Saint-Francis Xavier College, a Catholic secondary school for boys, located in Hong Kong. That school was founded in 55, and then Mr. Bruce Lee went to that school. That school was founded by the Jesuit fathers in Shanghai. And they were forced to leave to Shanghai, and then they moved to Hong Kong in 1949, and the college was rebuilt, and etc.
Hello, Michael?
Yes.
Oh, I sounded like I completely lost connection there for about 2 seconds.
You told me that last time, and I checked the recording, and it went fine. So I think that that has no effect on the recording.
Hookup. It's a computer hiccup or whatever.
Maybe, yes. Yeah, but I realized last time, and I looked to that twice, and I heard it, and it was absolutely fine, so don't worry, please.
Okay, I can't help it. When I lose connection, I'm same.
Yeah. Thank you for telling me, but yeah, it's very cool because then I can check it afterwards.
Good.
Mm-hmm. So on the left side, you see Bruce Lee at the smart age of 17 receiving on the March 29, 1958, his first prize in a boxing ring. And when you then know that he was a very tough guy having street fights in his youth, you can assume that the Jesuits, they put him under their wings, and they supported him. You see, you have a young talent there, which is smart looking, which is a child actor star in Hong Kong at that time, who can really fight and box. And so maybe, just in case, maybe they have somebody they can support. Huh? Yeah. And then later on, 50 years later, in March or April of 1973, that same guy, Bruce Lee, then returned to Saint Francis Xavier School in Hong Kong. Isn't that something? And you think that in the meantime, they just lost track because Bruce Lee was so busy. Yeah, Bib's website tell you, he trained for 14 years, 14 hours a day. And what else? Yeah, sure, you believe all that BS? First of all, he was an actor, okay? So this is his signing to the school. What else? Diary or what else that is? That school book here to a brother in a Jesuit college here in 1973. Okay. So, and then we have in the first session of Bruce Lee, we have talked about his definite chief aim with 5 times I will, which is very, very close to the 5 times I will in Isaiah 14:12. And Bruce Lee himself, he said of himself he was an atheist. So, and that is from 1969. It, of course, is secret. It's so secret we can't talk about it, but it's not so secret that we can't publish it afterwards. Yeah. So that what should that be for a secret that somebody wants to be the biggest star and wants to have money? You think that is a secret in Hollywood? You really think that's a secret that Robert De Niro has quite another ambition? That James Dean.
Wait a second. Look at the way if this letter or this, if this is authentic, from the hand of Bruce Lee.
Yeah.
Look at how presentable it is.
Mm-hmm.
It's not just some scribble on a piece of paper.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, that's my point.
Very, what can we say? It's done really quite presentably, and that looks like something that was something, in my opinion, would be told he had to do. He didn't come up with this.
I think so too.
But that's just my opinion.
Yeah, so but when he's coming from a Jesuitical school, then at least can you say, okay, he was not an atheist.
Yeah.
He was a Jesuit.
Which is worse.
Yeah.
Much worse.
Yeah, he was a Jesuit, yeah? So, and that is the problem that I face with all the stuff. You see, that when I see that Bruce Lee was known or unknown, or aware or unaware of being Jesuitically trained for several years in 1950s in Hong Kong, you see, I'm not surprised that he became a world star because in the end, you see that he received support from the people in the agenda who said, okay, now it's the time, Bruce. Yeah, now you do this. No, not now, not this year, not next year, but then it's time. Yeah. So I do not think that he lost connections to SFX actually. That he 15 years. Oh yes, I remember my old school. And then 3 months of close to 4 months before his death, he arrived at the school sports venue. You really believe it? I think that was done on purpose, maybe. Yeah. So maybe he received some orders there. I can't prove it, but you will see some things very soon. By the way, Google is now 25 years old, and I just received this Google What Else Doodle this week, and I call them the Ministry of Truth, 25 years of brainwashing for the masses. Yeah, because in Google they won't tell you the background of Albert Einstein and all the stuff. Yeah, and so therefore, if I would doubt the ambition of Mr. Kennedy and the ambitions of Robert Kennedy and therefore I have to doubt the ambitions of Robert F. Kennedy Jr., of course. You see, that is all a big family coming down from Jesuits. Do you really think that is a coincidence that Bill Clinton, out of a sudden, on July the 24th, like in the case of Bruce Lee,
yes.
out of a
Like,
sudden,
that's the key right there, is to really get a grasp on this term, ultramontanism. And we're going to go over this in a future session, Michael. This is primary. This is the root cause. Oh, yeah, we just ignore all the... Oh, let's just ignore all the religion in politics because it doesn't matter. Guess what? You're wrong. It matters. And we'll explain in a future session, right, Michael?
please do. But 4 months before your president officially has been assassinated on the 22nd of November, on July the 24th, young Bill Clinton meets President John F. Kennedy. And it's of course, it's just a coincidence. I don't believe in coincidences, guys. Really. A Jesuit meets a Jesuit.
Right.
So Robert F. Kennedy now on the upper picture here, blames the CIA for JFK's 1963 assassination, leaning into conspiracy. Can you really imagine? 60 years later, he's coming up with the CIA when John F. Kennedy said, I will splinter the CIA into 1,000 pieces. What a revelation now, and 16 years later.
It's just the basics, Michael.
It's just that he's presenting himself as being the good guy, you see? Good cop, bad cop, and he's the good cop.
Not only that, but he's saying everything that you want to hear, dear listener.
Yeah. These are all actors.
That's what you should be concerned about. It's the same reason that Michael is questioning everything in the whole script of history as it is. And that's perfect, actually. But that's Michael. It's not me. I'm a little different, Michael, because the research and the whole way the Lord has revealed this Antichrist agenda to me as well. I'm a little different. I'm not quite the same, and we have a little different approach to these topics. And RFK, I'm sorry, but when you're gonna go under the banner of the United States presidency, I got a problem with that.
Yeah, but I just like to point out that you see a bunch of Jesuits. Jesuit.
That's right.
So
That's
the one is looking smarter, the other is looking older, the one is a little bit more into sexual relationships. Yes, you see, but they are all the same. Yeah, they are all the same. You see, in the end, you see, there are Jesuits. You see that everywhere, and it does not matter. It's just the color that is different. Yeah, it's blue or red, but in the end, it just does not matter. Yeah, Jacqueline Kennedy, everybody is Jesuit, because otherwise she would not sit there.
In order to advance in the hierarchy, of course, you have to be.
Yeah, but otherwise she would not sit behind the president, beside the president. And I think it's also, these roses are very interesting. These are Rosicrucians and all this stuff. But I came across the fact, listening to older Kennedy sessions. Do you remember that what the name is of John F. Kennedy's mother?
Oh, I can't. No.
Rose.
Oh.
Yeah.
Man.
Yeah. So this is a narrative in which John F. Kennedy was a hero fighting the deep state. Yeah? Never mentioning the Jesuits, huh? Monolithic conspiracy and all the stuff. Never mentioning the Jesuits as far as I have heard it. And I know that there are Jesuits who are just writing his speeches, so come on. I don't buy it today that he's just purely innocent and he did it just for the interest of the American people. Come on, I don't buy that. Yeah, so the hero is presented here, in my humble opinion, has quite a taste on it. And I will tell you why, because I found another video here. It is very interesting. I always presumed on that last minutes of his official life here, John F. Kennedy, that Jacqueline Kennedy had no problem with her head, but that was a signal. And I found this video this week from a very small channel with just a few hundred of hits. And he said, stop. This is the Alkins 4 picture of Maine and Houston, allegedly. And this is not the correct picture, because this picture is just a part of a bigger picture. But you have to see the bigger picture. And somebody did the work and he just made the bigger picture. And this is the complete picture up to his research. So she's greeting with her left hand on her head and somebody is greeting with her right hand on his head. What a coincidence. Must be a sheer coincidence. But I always say that there are no coincidences, and that could be a signal. And I think I was quite right on that. Yeah? So, this is a completely ignored picture, somebody says, and that channel is being called New True Flags here. This is a completely ignored picture. That guy is called Rip Robertson from the CIA. After the war, he joined the CIA and he was employed as a counterintelligence agent. And some researchers say that photographic evidence suggests that he was in Dealey Plaza during the assassination of JFK. He later was sent to Vietnam and then, conveniently, he died in 1970 from the after effects of malaria. Or, what I don't want to tell you, maybe he died from the after effects of Agent Orange, nobody knows. But this is just beginning to make a more interesting picture here, because this picture I did not have for the entire research on Kennedy before. So somebody really did his homework, I hope, and I hope that that guy is authentic. But you see that there are so many things that either you believe in Jacqueline Kennedy has been set up in a complot to kill her husband, or everything in here is just a big charade or charade. Yeah, it's just a play. It's just a juridical play. It's just up to you, what do you believe? But I don't believe in that the world would be a better place if JFK would be in president for 8 years. I don't believe it, because I know there are people behind the agenda, and all here are just merely puppets on a string which you can't see. That is my point. Yeah? So it's not the point who killed Kennedy and why was he killed and what did he get away. In any case, it was a signal from the Vatican to all the politician puppets in the entire world that you obey or else.
Wait a second. Whoa. Go back up. Who's the guy in the middle doing the Roman salute?
Yeah, there is debate on that, and I can't answer that question. I have to look through the video.
That's interesting.
There's another guy there behind the guy who's giving the Nazi salute, who looks very CIA-ish, but I don't know who he is.
I don't know who he is, he says.
The guy giving the Nazi salute, I don't know. Maybe that's Johnny Roselli.
Very strange.
He said maybe it's what's the forename of it?
But I don't know. Maybe that's Johnny Roselli.
Maybe that's Johnny Roselli. That would mean mafia.
Makes sense.
Yeah, but this picture now makes really sense, huh?
Yeah. Man.
So nobody knows. I can't tell you, and I don't want to give any false statement. Yeah, but I just want to say you that it's more important what's the agenda behind it. The agenda behind this is to get rid of all the politicians who does not want to play under the rules of the Jesuits or the Pope. That's a really big thing. It's not only about this JFK stuff. Yeah, and also it could be Kurt Meyer, the CIA guy. Okay, that is Mary Pinchot Meyer here, most likely, he says. And her husband is, and she should have had an affair with JFK, and her husband is called Meyer, CIA too. Yeah, so it's all just, you see, it's just an exchange of names, but the channel is called No True Flags here, and I can really recommend it. It's very interesting. Yeah, because it's always another Mary. Yeah? It's Marilyn Monroe, it's Mary Pinchot Meyer, and we will soon approach Mary Jo Kopechne. It's always a Mary. Oh, I can't stand Mary. So, and other people's and other thing he has found too. So there's a white bus in that Charles Bronson, not the actor, but somebody who supposedly stood there to take some pictures, maybe for the government too. Yeah, so they did not have any big camera teams, ABC, CBS, but had only a bunch of amateurs, and you have to believe it. And nobody has to believe it, yeah, because that white bus has really a problem here because it blocks the sight of several photographers here, which means in the end that this bus maybe has been placed here on purpose, and it has been altered because usually in pictures you see that has here a kind of an air ventilation, climate control, or what else here on top, and on that picture it's just a smooth surface. Yeah, and all the buses in Dallas that I could get hold of, and also that researcher here from that page as well, do not show any smooth surface on the top of their buses. So it's really strange. Yeah. So when the bus is not there, you see more people, of course, because the bus blocks the sides. Yeah, and so you can assume that there are many, many fakery going around here, because also he reveals that James Alkins was not the guy who was taking the pictures 5 and 6 because he could not make it in time. So therefore, he said that there are 3 photographers placed out here, and maybe the bus has been placed there on purpose to block the sight from that view, so that you can't see them. Yeah, so there are many, many things going on. You see, if you see these buses there on the day of Kennedy approach, you see always this kind of rectangular stuff here with maybe a ventilator or fan or what else. So for air ventilation, most likely. And it is not on that Charles Bronson film. Yeah, you see, you can go on in the Kennedy stuff. Yeah, it's all fakery, and that is the problem that I have all of this stuff. Yeah, so it's fake. It's most likely it's totally fabrication. Yeah, so every time you see a bus on these grisly pictures here, it does not have that rectangular thing, because also the quality is extremely decent for many reasons, I think. Yeah, but where to start? And I don't want to go into Kennedy again, but yeah, here you see a bus on that picture, and the next picture you see only a black spot. Yeah, then you can't see a bus, so maybe, just maybe, or most likely, many pictures have also been forged. And this is not just about Kennedy. Yeah, you see, just covered the bus, he says, with a fake crowd in shadow. Yeah, where do we know that from, huh? From Elmstream and the white van, huh? So, where do you want to start? Yeah, and he says also that Lovelady was the guy on the 6th floor, supposedly. He was presented as a visual decoy because he looks much like Oswald. He was not actually firing a rifle. James Alkins and Charles Brame cooperated in faking the Alkins 6 photos to give Billy Lovelady an alibi. This famous picture here, where Lovelady is standing in the hallway here, in the entrance here of the Texas school building, to give Billy Lovelady an alibi for the time of the shooting by pasting his face onto Joe Molina in the doorway. If that is correct, yeah, that means that he was standing on the 6th floor pretending to be Oswald, and then any other guy was standing there on the entrance of the Texas School Book Depository, and they just faked a photo into mixing his face onto that, according to his opinion, yeah. But you see that I'm so fed up with all this Kennedy stuff, yeah, so I do not know if we should use that cartoon. I found that hilarious, but disgusting at the same time, Brad. The Warren Commission investigated... But look how these people are dressed.
Looks like judges.
I thought it looks like Jesuits.
Well, sure. Same thing.
Same thing, yeah. Yeah,
but so I mean, when you're in the court, I mean, just think about it. When you're in the court, why are you in the court?
Mm-hmm.
Because you violated Roman law.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, so it's just also there is a magic. Yeah,
I'm laughing because look at what the Beatles are wearing.
Yeah,
black and white, almost the same as the judges we just saw.
There's a magical bus in the Kennedy case, and there's a magical mystery tour in the Beatles case, and all have the same agenda.
Oh, look at the upside down pentagrams.
Yeah.
All of them almost.
What do you think? It's magic.
Pathetic.
Yeah, so that is just where you just thought that you knew it all. Yeah, there are some other clues also that everything is fake. So this is a complete fake movie. And this is a complete fake movie. Everything is fake here. So maybe the assassination also is fake, I don't know, and I don't care, because you see that the purpose of this is to see the agenda behind it, and the agenda behind this is, of course, been running out of Rome. All roads lead to Rome.
Wow, Michael, what you just said, that all of a sudden clicked with me.
Okay.
Because, look, we don't have to believe it. We don't have to believe it. Look at all the actors. Look at all of the media. It's all been set up to vain deceit.
Mm-hmm.
It's just that simple. If you can deceive the whole world and tell them a lie and get them to believe it, then you got them hooked. That's the problem. We've been hooked.
It's
Michael.
not important if JFK was shot. You see, you don't have to shoot him to let the world know that you are running the show, that you're the most powerful man in the world and not John F. Kennedy. It is enough that people believe that John Kennedy has been shot. It's enough that people believe that Bruce Lee died. It is enough that people believe that C-19 is a deadly disease. It is enough that it's all belief, that you have to believe a lie. It's just a belief. And therefore, I think that is all Hollywood here. Think of the fact that also he said that you have to really to use your common sense. Why would the CIA, the Secret Service, the president's men, and all the people who are in protection of the president, so to speak, would allow a photographer to step in just in front of the motorbikes? That's why I said then, long before, when we started with this, I said, yeah, sure, James Alkins must be in it. He must be CIA or what else? No ordinary man would be allowed in a restricted area in the Dealey Plaza when the president is coming to step on the street and take pictures. You see, he could have also taken out a gun. But nobody is, or almost nobody is asking these questions. And this is my problem with it. You see, this is all fake. Yeah. Sometimes you don't see any Abraham Zapruder. Maybe he was running outside to get his film developed, and he has to. What else? Wow. You see that it is just. You see, the only thing that you see is a greasy picture. You don't have any real evidence. Yeah, you only see the president's head explode in a strange orange color, and have a hard time believing it was a special bullet who just created this orange image. So therefore, I would suggest that this image has been reworked to fit the orange 33 Freemason, what else, fire and shin, and what else you come up with narrative. I don't think that is an authentic picture. And once again, if you kill the American president, I have a hard time believing that you just put somebody there on a pedestal or on a stone and just say, "Oh yeah, you just use your private camera." So everything is connected. Therefore, you see that from the Reformation.org page where I was starting the research with, actually, they say, yeah, that's just like the Pink Panther. Yeah, you see that Jacqueline Kennedy was the Pink Panther. The Pink Panther leaping here on the back of the car to get, of course, the attention to her and away from the president, who maybe was shot, or maybe just, in any case, he was an actor. Not maybe on the 22nd of November, but he was a paid actor, because you know that 1720, the Jesuitical General Tamburini told that, see my lord, from this place I govern the entire world without anybody knowing how I do it. 1720, 240 years before the Kennedy assassination. I have to believe that everything is correct here, huh? Sure. In the Jesuitical script, and now listen please carefully, from Shot in the Dark, which has then been made 1 year later, 1964, with Inspector Clouseau, Mrs. Elke Sommer played the part of the female lead, so to speak, yeah, to play the Pink Panther. So to be a little short of an example as Jacqueline Kennedy. First of all, that has been given or been applied to Mrs. Sophia Loren. She was supposed to play the Pink Panther. And I thought it is really interesting because the inspector on that case of the missing diamond, so you see that Pink Panther means a diamond, and I'm not going into this, you have to see all the Kennedy sessions to get really the nitty-gritty out of here. The Jackie double, Sophia Loren, was perfect for the role of the Pink Panther. Peter Sellers, he's a Freemason, we know that from that script of Weird Scenes in Laurel Canyon, had already made a film with her and wanted her as his co-star. Most of the other actresses and actors looked like real people in the Kennedy assassination conspiracy, except for Elke Sommer. Yeah? No detail was too small. He says that also the British Secret Service with it. We know that all Secret Service have been managed by the Jesuits. To overlook the color of Pink Panther's wardrobe, her white gloves, and her hairstyle, that she departed her hair on the other direction, so she had a free view on JFK. Yeah. Prior to the assassination, Jacqueline Kennedy always parted her hair on the right side. Now she's parting her hair on the left side. Okay. But what's really interesting is coming now. There are similarities between the Lincoln and Kennedy assassination which prove that both assassinations were the work of the British Secret Service, or let us say the work of the people who are running the show in the United States. Not naming anything, who killed Kennedy, who killed Abraham Lincoln, or how did it do it, and what is the impression, and that is all just a big agenda. Both of them were against the Jesuits, or the so-called deep state, or the monolithic conspiracy, and so both did not obey. So therefore, both served as an example. The first movie to feature a Pink Panther began soon after the assassination of President Kennedy, and I think it is fair to say that she looks like a leaping panther in that hilarious Zapruder movie. That movie is called A Shot in the Dark and was released in June '64, so very close after that. It's a little bit like that Goldfinger 007 story with the chauffeur shooting a passenger on the right seat behind. That movie was shot in London and starred Peter Sellers, highly ranked Freemason, as Inspector Clouseau, and Elke Sommer as Maria Gambrelli, or the Pink Panther. Peter Sellers had Sophia Loren specifically in mind, so an Italian actress, to play the Pink Panther, but the similarity to the real Pink Panther scared her away. Here's a quote from a biography of director Blake Edwards. To direct the film, the Mirishish, so the production company, brought in Anatol Litvak, a competent filmmaker, through one of limited comic gifts, and cast Sophia Loren in the part that ultimately went to Elke Sommer. When Loren's husband, producer Carlo Ponti, read Alex Copper's script, he advised Loren to drop out, coming from a book of Mr. Wasson, A Splurge and a Kisser, which we have also been talked about before, page 88. Most likely, Ponti did not want his beautiful wife to get a heart attack like Peter Sellers, but you don't get this. This is another story here of Britt Eklund, but that has already been stated here when it comes down to that parody of Jacqueline Kennedy, Pink Panther and all the stuff, in A Shot in the Dark. We read, Sophia Loren in the part that ultimately went to Elke Sommer. When Loren's husband, producer Carlo Ponti, read Alex Copper's script, he advised Loren to drop out, and the Mirishes, equally disappointed with the adaptation, sent it to Norman Krasna for rewrites. So, what's interesting is that producer and husband of Sophia Loren advised her to drop out. That is in that book here. Now you really have to see all the coincidences. The coincidence is that that movie has been shot by Blake Edwards. And that script from that movie is coming from no one else but from the Exorcist script, William Peter Blatty, who is, of course, a sinister Jesuit. And it's getting worse. Because if you really read the biography of the second husband of Linda Lee, so Bruce Lee's wife, Tom Bleecker, who have made this prominent books Unsettled Matters and T-Money on the case of the alleged murder of Bruce Lee, you find that his protege was none other than Blake Edwards. So the guy who has made a movie in 1964 after the Kennedy assassination about a Pink Panther movie, which has a Jesuitical script from William Blatty, is the protege of Tom Bleecker. Welcome in Hollywood. Once again, I remind you, this is Blake Edwards, this is Tom Bleecker, and this is Bruce Lee. You already have a connection here. So, Linda Lee married Tom Bleecker in 1988 and they divorced in 1990. She later wed stockbroker Bruce Cattrall in 1991. And if you think that is really a coincidence here, then I have to tell you that I like Tom Bleecker a lot, but he's Hollywood. He's part of Hollywood. And he says that, yes, he's about then Freemason Billy Graham, and so that is a man professes a faith in God. Yeah, but which God? Are you still with me, Brad?
Oh, the counterfeit. I mean, that's obvious.
Yeah, but isn't that an interesting connection? You see that, bam, 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 you have Kennedy, you have William Peter Blatty, you have a Jesuit, and you have Blake Edwards, and you have Tom Bleecker, and you have Bruce Lee. Bam, 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 everything again together. Because it's all Hollywood. Mm-hmm. It's all Hollywood. Yeah. Hey, guy, I'm doing research for hours, and I would expect you to say, "Oh, that's great, Bright, Michael." No, I'm so disappointed.
Michael,
Yes.
You're 7 hours ahead of me.
Okay, that's it. Yeah. So I can't tell you what happened there, but I have to assume that everything is Hollywood. Yeah. So when his son Brandon was actually shot to death, I don't buy it. And somebody came up with the hilarious idea that John F. Kennedy has been surgery, and then afterwards was Jimmy Carter. Let me tell you something. I did not believe it before, and nowadays I don't care. I don't care, because everything is possible. Surgery, doppelganger, everything is possible. I know that is Hollywood, and I know that the family of Kennedy, they are coming just from Irish. Yeah, they are smugglers, they are everything, they are just in for power, and they have a Jesuitical Bible. You see that, what else shall I say among them? Don't take everything as granted, they are just all puppets on a string, including Mr. John F. Kennedy. And I don't buy that he was just, doing everything for the public. He really was? He was a Knight of Columbus, who were having the same fourth vow as the Jesuits. So his goal, Brad, was to destroy all heretics, including the Buddhists in Vietnam. And he did take that oath, Brad.
You know, this is really strange. This is really strange.
You can't take everything for granted. You can't go into all the media stuff anymore because there's so much fake in it. You can't sort it out, which is which. I would highly suggest that the so-called murder on Lee Harvey Oswald is totally fake. Yeah, you see a microphone here hanging. Yeah, you don't see any blood, you don't see any flesh. Yeah, where is it? Yeah, so it's just a movie. And so when this is a movie here of Lee Harvey Oswald, who tells me then that the assassination of John F. Kennedy is not a movie too? I don't know, and I don't care, because I only care for the agenda behind it. This happened 2 days after the assassination of Kennedy. By Jack Ruby, and these both were known before. Yeah, because they shared also the same location and all the stuff. Not going into this, but you see, this is just the story. Yeah, and this is just no coincidence. It's also no coincidence that His Holiness, then Pope Paul VI, so the evil Pope, on December the 4th, so mere 2 weeks after the assassination of Kennedy officially, he came up with Inter Mirifica. Yeah, so 14 days after the Kennedy assassination, the Roman Catholic Church says so the Catholic Church was founded by Christ our Lord. Yeah, which is absolutely untrue. And they say, or he says, an inherent right of the church is to have at its disposal and to employ any of these media. So including the Zapruder movie, including everything that the public will see. And I think we have done an extensive job on the so-called magic bullet, which magic means a priest, 7 wounds means 7 deadly sins, and pristine means the Virgin Mary, and CE 399 is just the Council of Trent, 1564. Yeah. That is repetition here. Yeah, so it is just all and then it's of course an Italian rifle, Mannlicher Cancano and all the stuff. Yeah, so everything points to Rome. All roads lead to Rome. And all roads lead to the Roman Catholic Church. So you only have to look what they are doing, what they are proposing to you, also in movies. That is the same thing with A Shot in the Dark with Jesuit William Blatty and director Blake Edwards and actress.
I just wanted to say, bread and circus, man, on a level that it's on a level that we're just not capable of looking at, Michael, until you come along and present this research. I mean, come on.
You have to see that after the Kennedy assassinations, there were several films, and I was just eager to look into the many, many popular films. And one of the most popular films, 1964, was Dr. Strangelove, How I Learned to Love the Bomb. So it was a war movie. And then I came across the fact that, yes, Clint Eastwood is a Jesuit. Yeah, so then I came across the thing with this most likely faked assassination on Lee Harvey Oswald. When Clint Eastwood, a year later, 1964, in A Fistful of Dollars, he's wearing a protection vest, so a bullet-proof vest. Yeah, so maybe you see that I found it quite interesting to suggest that that was just a fake. And when I look into more movies in 1964, I came up, I think that many have not understood my remark of it. So Phantom Mars means the Phantom. Yeah, that in 1964, on the 4th of November, 64, somebody came up with the idea to publish that Fantomas movie where a highly ranking criminal was just playing other characters by just simply putting a mask on his face to pretend to be someone else. And I thought, oh, that would be quite fitting for many, many assassinations that they use doubles, masks, or doppelgangers. Was just my idea. Maybe you have some brainstorming around it that what you see is not what you get. What you see is what you should believe. It is just a belief. That is deception. Ars magna lucis et ambre, but it's not the truth.
Vain deceit.
Vain deceit. Yeah, and so therefore I came across that movie and I said, okay, there was a mask on it. Somebody puts a mask on it, and now he's not the criminal, but he's then the investigator. He's the inspector and all the stuff. He's not the bad guy anymore. He's the good guy. So maybe if you see somebody shot or what else outside, maybe just have somebody a surgery, doppelganger, a mask. Everything is possible. We are talking about Hollywood. Can you imagine, can you recall of Bruce Lee that James Coburn said, it didn't look like Bruce, it looked like a mask. And then I came to the conclusion, I said, yes, a mask, 1964, there was something. And that was, of course, Fantomas with a mask. Yeah, so these are the best movies. A year later, after Kennedy officially had been shot, Goldfinger, with the chauffeur, the driver shooting the passenger behind. Yeah, A Hard Day's Night with the Beatles. The Umbrellas, I said, oh, the Umbrella Man, interesting. Yeah, and then Dr. Strangelove from Stanley Kubrick. I said, yeah, he has to earn his laurels as well. And then I came across that interesting letter from 1965. You see, I just want to do a little bit chronologically here. From Mr. Bruce Lee to his beloved wife, Linda, of March the 3rd. And he said, till then, my dearest wife, with love from China, James Bond. So maybe, if you understand that otherwise, maybe he was already looking to be like an agent. 65, he was already 6 years close to the United States. So maybe he was also been used as a kind of a low-level Secret Service agent. Who knows? You see, he then in 66 got the role in a television series, and afterwards then he went on to live in Hollywood. Yeah? So come on, maybe. I do not know. With Love on China, James Bond could be funny, could be some truth in it. No? Nobody knows. Nobody knows anything. You see, in the case of Kennedy, for example, there was a very prominent reporter called Dorothy McKilgall. And officially, she has events of testimonies of Jack Ruby who have never been publicized. And then she was just killed or just, dead. And you have to believe it, of course. Yeah, that means also she does not have to die. You only have to believe that she died. Yeah. So in case that this is a warning sign, maybe, for all the journalists, don't stick your nose in too deep into the Kennedy case or anything else will happen to you like in the case of Mrs. Kilgallen. Yeah, I don't want to be rude, but I have to question everything. Mm-hmm. Next thing is coming up is an actor called Howard Stanton LaVey, called Anton Sandor LaVey. Yeah, which is an actor, jesuitically controlled also, who is just then setting up on the Walpurgisnacht, on the Night of the Witches, on the 13th of April 1966, his so-called Church of Satan. And he says, the TV set of Satanic Family Altar has grown more elaborate since the early 50s, from the tiny fuzzy screen to huge entertainment centers covering entire walls with several TV monitors. What started as an innocent respite from everyday life has become in itself a replacement for real life for millions, a major religion of the masses. And he's totally right. And he worked together with no one else but Roman Polanski on the Making the Antichrist movie Rosemary's Rosicrucian's Baby, or Crowley's Moonchild, that announced the birth of the Antichrist. And he lived in a small black house in 6115 California Street in San Francisco, same town where Bruce Lee had been born, with a black leopard. And the band The Eagles, which I call from now on the Roman Eagles, refer to this at the house in Hotel California, with the last part before the guitar solo comes in. But you can never leave, because when you're in the satanic circles, you're not supposed to leave. Welcome to the Hotel California. That is most likely Anton Sandor LaVey.
You can check out anytime you want. Yeah, that's the lyric.
Yeah, thank you.
Check out anytime you want, but you can never leave.
Yeah. So the Eagles, why do they call themselves the Eagles? Sure, huh? Roman Eagles. And don't forget, this is also the part, the Eagles, a famous band, yeah, is also a part of Laurel Canyon. So it is an army project as well. The Rolling Stones also in Painted Black also referred to that, and he founded, so Anton LaVey, the Church of Satan, after shaving his head like Aleister Crowley on the Walpurgisnacht, the date of death Adolf Hitler. So therefore it's very strange that Adolf Hitler chose his suicide on the 13th of April. Come on. The day before the 1st May, the day of the Virgil of Baal. Come on, you see that, where to start? Mr. LeVay, yeah? So Mr. LeVay, by the coincidence, he worked as a presidio like Paul Tate, the father of Sharon Tate. Must be a coincidence then, huh? My. Martin Luther King, for that example, which is a mockery because his name actually, officially at least, was Michael King, was a mind-controlled political puppet of the left-wing church, played a role in the JFK ritual, the fake civil rights movement, and he died in an assassination ritual 63 days before the assassination of Kennedy. He died on the 4th of April, 4/4/68, while Robert F. Kennedy died on the 6th, 8, yeah, the 6th of June, 1968, yeah, and Robert Kennedy died 6 days before Antichrist movie Rosemary's Baby. Yeah, so he was also a fake controlled. I'm not in line with this. I think that was God's mercy to install Martin Luther. But what do I know? Yeah, so is he really dead? Is it a doppelganger? What do I know? I don't know nothing. Yeah, so that has been a ritual as well here with Martin Luther King. I never got into the assassination of Martin Luther King. I don't know why. Because I don't trust nobody and I don't want to spend my time with that. But it's very interesting. MLK can also have the meaning of Molech. But what's more interesting is that MLK was not a clean guy. He was a member of Sigma Phi Phi and Alpha Phi Alpha, so several Freemasonic connected organizations. And he was surrounded by peoples like Jesuit Theodore Hesburgh and controlled and Jesuit Richard McSorley, which is very interesting because I think that was the same Jesuit who was also in personal touch with Jacqueline Kennedy. But that must be a coincidence then, huh? But it gets
Speaking of coincidences, Michael, I just looked up Jimmy Carter.
Yeah.
He turned 99 years old today.
Oh, yeah. I knew that he was very old. I looked him up last week, but I do not know that his birthday is today. So congratulations, Mr. Jimmy Carter, or whatever your name is.
I mean, you bring this up with this. I just, this is so strange. I'm laughing in a good way.
If you really question everything, you see, then you have your mind, free your mind.
Yeah,
all
that's
the indoctrination.
Right, Thank you for that. But like I said, you're 7 hours ahead of me. It's just not fair. Every time. Every single time.
The life is not fair. Yeah, it starts. I made a joke last a couple of days before when I was talking in my German premiere, and I said that yes, I was so curious about the word and I wanted out, and when I was out, the first thing that I did when I saw the word, I yelled. Yeah.
Oh yeah, that reminds me of something.
Yeah. So you see that everybody who's been working together, close friends of cousin of Bob Dylan and all this stuff, and this is his proposed killer. Yeah, I haven't forgotten James Earl. What else? Yeah, so look at the number here, 00416. You see that? Not again, Brett. Not again. I don't believe anybody anymore.
You mean the Twin Towers number?
Yeah. You see that I'm so sick of all this stuff. I'm not doing satanic media anymore. This session is just for people really to wake up. Please wake up.
Scroll down a little bit. Who is this again?
I have not mentioned his name.
I can't see it on the screen. Yeah, right.
No,
Who is it?
No, I have not mentioned him. I think I forgot it. I think it's called James Earl Ray or so. Some string.
Okay.
He has to have 3 names, of course. Huh? That's like Lee Harvey Oswald. No? So James Earl Ray. Sure. Yes, I'm correct. Yeah. So he was American as the killer of Martin Luther King. Yeah. So if you believe it.
Okay.
Yeah? So maybe he was just also an actor. Yeah. Who knows?
Right.
Who knows?
That's right. That's right. Wow. It's just so strange when you start to look at things like that. It just, wow.
Oh, he had a nose correction. My. Okay, but I'm not going into this case because we're running out of time for that. Yeah, so the assassination of Robert F. Kennedy, same deal, on the 6th of the 6th of 1968. Yeah, so 666, and not only this, but 6 days before Rosemary's Baby. Los Angeles, 12:15 a.m., but he died at 1:44 a.m. I said not 44 again. Yeah, 44 reminds me of Aleister Crowley, the Phoenix Ritual. Yeah, somebody.
Yeah.
Rising from the death.
Yes, that's right.
Yeah.
That's the esoteric meaning, yes.
Yeah, can you, at least it's a possibility, but can you imagine, I don't believe anybody.
It's not proven, that's right, but I mean.
See,
wow.
my lord, from this place I govern China, and not only China, but the entire world, 70-20. We're talking about 1968 now. Another Kennedy died. Now, can you imagine, really, if you are totally crazy and you think that, okay, that maybe John F. Kennedy was an actor, maybe R.F. Kennedy was an actor, then you can only conclude that, okay, then maybe John F. K. Jr., who was having a plane accident when he was young, maybe that happened, that did not happen that way, so that they said that, okay, we are playing a part here as an actor for a certain amount, a limited amount of time, and afterwards we are being free and have new identity. I'm doing it over the top now. Yeah, but we have to question everything in the case of Kennedy.
Oh, my.
Yeah, but this is really the essence of it. If you really go into JFK Jr., yeah, a smart guy, and then out of a sudden he has an accident at the age of, what was he, 39? I'm glad he was not 44, but yeah, you see that, what am I supposed to believe now? When I know that the media is totally controlled. Yeah, so I have to believe that John F. Kennedy was been shot by Lee Harvey Oswald. That is what they're telling you. And they're telling you also that RFK has been shot by Sirhan Sirhan, although the bullet, or the path of the bullet, officially, I think, does not match. Then they tell you that John F. Kennedy Jr., he died, of course, in a plane crash at the age of 38 in July the 16th, 1999. Yeah, that's what they're telling you. But did it happen? This way or another way, I don't know. And I have to tell you, I don't care, because I'm only caring for the agenda behind it. So if I do not have belief that this is the picture of somebody who has been shot, or maybe that is a picture of somebody who says, okay, I've been threatened, and if I do not draw back from run of the presidency, then...
wow. I think we almost need to start every session, Michael, with a disclaimer.
Yeah, but this is just, they control the media. We are talking about Inter Mirifica and Miranda Prosos. We are talking about that the Roman Catholic Church officially says that they own the media.
That's a primary truth that you cannot escape. You just cannot escape. It's far too more. I mean, what was this, Michael? What was the name of the? I'm trying to remember now. The newspaper, the press reporter that said, you know, we're intellectual prostitutes. What was his name?
That was in 80 something. It was John Swinton.
John Swinton. That really speaks volumes, and that's 1880.
80 something, yes.
Wow.
Yeah, imagine, you see that, and then you take everything for granted?
Yeah, that's right.
Then you take everything for granted?
What he said was just super important.
Yeah, so maybe you see that he's been questionable too, but that's what he said. We are jumping jacks, we are intellectual prostitutes in 8083. He left his son, 8083, were intellectual prostitutes. Yeah, it was 8083, somewhere around that, yeah. So there is no independent press, so that is the picture that you shall believe. And you shall believe that Bruce Lee was only in for the money. You shall not believe that he's coming from a wealthy family like the Rockefellers in Hong Kong. You shall not believe that he was being trained by the Jesuits. You shall not believe that he was on a mission. Because he said, what did he say of himself in 1965? China James Bond. James Bond is military intelligence 6. It's British intelligence, and the Britons are running Hong Kong then. So if you really think that is also authentic, I have to question everything, and I'm questioning this. I'm questioning this. So this is coming from January 1969, so half a year after the official RFK. If he was been assassinated and died, and I'm totally sorry, but I have to question everything. Yeah. So this is coming from January 1969, inspired by Lucifer and maybe Brother Gregory from the Saint Francis Xavier College, I would say. Because he was an atheist, right? Or an actor, or an actor playing an atheist. He was a child actor. He had done more than 10 movies in Hong Kong. He was an actor all his life.
Yes. He was born and raised into the profession and took to it really, really well, didn't he?
Yes. Next one is coming up is the Chappaquiddick incident, which occurred on the July the 18th in 1969 when Senator Edward Ted Kennedy negligently drove his car off a narrow bridge, causing it to overturn in a tidal pond. This resulted in a drowning death of his 28-year passenger Mary Jo Kopechne. Yeah, so the death of his 28-year-old passenger Mary Jo Kopechne, who was trapped inside the vehicle. So I assume that he was never in that vehicle, so that maybe if she was being killed on purpose and the blame would be taken from him. But now you have to realize Mary Jo Kopechne was an American secretary and one of the campaign workers for U.S. Senator Robert F. Kennedy's presidential campaign. Now you make your mind up. Maybe she knew something about the assassination and therefore had to be kept silent. If there is some fraud in the assassination of RFK, then this so-called incident would make much sense. RFK has been killed on the 6th of June. She died July the 18th. That's just 6 weeks later. And I think that it is highly likely that there is something fishy. Maybe she found out that there is some strange things going on. And I don't believe the story of Sirhan Sirhan, that he shot RFK. I think they needed a scapegoat, like in the case of Lee Harvey Oswald. And you really think that your government is telling you the truth, right? Correct? That's your government, huh? Presenting you a plastic box as a moon lander. This is a moon landing, like all big media events, all religions is a lie telling you was a staged hoax. And this happened 1 day, 2 days after the incident, so that got almost quite forgotten, that it was just secondary. Yeah, because then, bang, on the next day or 2 days later, then Freemasons, Buzz Aldrin went to the moon in a underground film laboratorium somewhere in the United States, I suppose. The first free movie Trip to the Moon was made by Jesuit George Millet. MI6 Fabian H.G. Welch wrote The First Man on the Moon. In 1929, The Woman on the Moon was released by Thea Harbaugh, which was the wife then of Fritz Lang, who made a movie about Mary, the false messiah in Metropolis. The NASA is a military organization, part of the US Army. Yeah, hello Sharon Tate, and of course hello Marilyn Monroe, a cult of Satan and transhumanist. It originated with the JPL of Satanist Jack Parsons, who was doing Crowley's Moonchild and magic rituals. Yeah, that is your NASA. That is just deception. That's nothing else. You don't see any stars, you don't see any creator, you don't see any thrust. Yeah, what you see is just fairy tales. Deception. From Freemasons. Yeah, Apollo 11, another 11. Thank you. And if you tell to that guy, please swear on the Bible, then he's hitting you right in the face, of course. Yeah, that's what liar do. Liar are murder. You see that he's lying, and I would think that he's also capable of murdering somebody. Yeah, he's in the Antichrist spirit. He's a liar. Proudly wearing a sword and a pentagram. Apollo 11, yeah. Come on, these are all liars. Yeah, this was a ritual, announced the birth of the moonchild. Yeah, a male rocket falls patch into the so-called moon surface, boof, the crater. Yeah, and then you create a moonchild. Yeah, so male and female energy, and boom, out of a sudden you got a moonchild from Alistair Crowley.
I mean, just take the spectacle of the rocket itself.
Yeah,
and how incredibly
people only see a rocket taking off.
You just see that kind of spectacle and put that image on the television set, completely fascinated with it.
Yeah, because it's a huge gigantic. You have to make the lie gigantic in order for people to believe in it. Yeah, Saturn means Satan, or the old name for Rome is Stir, S-T-R. So stir. Yeah, Saturn 5 is victory. Come on.
Yeah. It's true. It's true.
It's all the same. It's
yeah.
And
it's
read
a
my
really
point.
Tough one for Americans to swallow right here, Michael.
Yeah, but you see that if your moon landing is fake,
it's like we were talking earlier off, about this fella that you had seen.
Mm-hmm.
You hadn't seen in 30 years or something, and you take a needle to their bubble and you burst that bubble, and they completely lose it.
Mm-hmm.
They completely
you are being betrayed by people who believe in some kind of a higher being or God, but it's not the God of the Bible. It's Edward Buzz Aldrin. First of all, he was before 32 degree, then afterwards honorary degree 33 degree Freemason, the second man and first Freemason to step on the surface of the moon, which is a blatant lie. Initiated into Freemason Lodge 864. 8 plus 6 plus 4 is 18. Come on, you see that I'm so sick of all the stuff, because you see that is deception. Yeah, you're running a show, Ars Magna Lucis et Umbrae, the great art of light and shadow, and this is the Apollo mission sending out of Jesuits. Yeah, it's a mission control. Looks a little bit more fancy with the flat panel screens here nowadays. Yeah, and they sell you then the desert of where else as the surface of Mars. Yeah, and hooray, hooray, hooray! Everybody with this COVID-19 ritual.
Oh yeah, Michael, have you seen what's been going on with India and I forget what other countries, Russia? They're sending lunar landers, and we've landed on the moon. Oh, same thing all over again.
Yeah. Then you see that they're all in it, and then you see that the quote of Tamburini in 1720 may be correct, that he says that I govern the entire world without anybody knowing how I do it. And how does he do it? Yeah, with the help of big money and with the help of all his churches everywhere placed in every town. You see that in every town you got a secret service station which has a church bell hanging in.
Look what's happened to our society. It's rows of television or computer monitors, huh?
Yeah.
Rows and rows of completely willing participants in the whole monstrosity.
But if you question that, you see that kind of Stanley Kubrick, if you question that, you be a conspiracy theorist. Yeah, so you shall be dumbed down and you shall just obey, consume and obey, and don't make any questions.
That's right.
I never bought it that Stanley Kubrick made that. I never bought that. I can't imagine myself that they would have flown over to Great Britain to do this. I think that it was a Freemason stuff. Therefore, from the beginning, I said I would sense Disney being in it. 666. Yeah, but you see that some other Freemason company, Lookout Mountain.
I mean, this is the kind of world we were born into. Deeply, deeply indoctrinated, and what do you expect from us? I was born in 1969. This is all deeply, deeply, deeply embedded. Yeah, 666. It's against Christ and his anointed. It couldn't be any simpler than that, Michael.
Yeah.
That's right. Psalms chapter 2. We're deep in this.
Yeah, it's mission control. Yeah, mission control. You got here the Sigma. Sigma is the 18th letter of the Greek alphabet. 18, huh? Means 666. Yeah, it's everywhere. But not if you're not reading the
And
Bible.
yeah, the mission, the Jesuits, yeah.
Yeah, so it's the 18
Oh, wait,
letter.
now, is that Latin up there? Res?
Yeah, sure.
Par excellence.
Yeah, sure. Must be.
Language of the Antichrist.
Yeah. And then NASA Johnson Space Center. Johnson was a Jesuit. Yeah, he received the Jesuitical medal 4 weeks before the Kennedy assassination took place. Yeah,
Of course. Of
mission
course.
control. Yeah. So these are all the experts. Who are you to question it, you see? They will ridicule us, yeah? They have all the experts who have studied in their universities. Yeah, Mission Control Center, yeah? So I'm sorry, guys, but Control Center, CC 33. Ah, come on, I see that. I see it everywhere.
Jesuit 33 is what that
The
says.
tongue of the serpent here, yeah. It's not a glider here, it's just the tongue of the serpent, yeah. It's Nasha means to whisper
Never
magic
a
spell.
straight answer. Never a straight
Yeah,
answer from
but
the
also
serpent.
Nasha,
Yeah.
Nasha with an H, I think, is just Hebrew for whispering a magic spell. It's Nasha from Genesis chapter
that's
3.
right. Yes.
Yeah. Yeah,
More
so-
of this sigil stuff. Huh?
Yeah,
Sigil.
mission,
I'm sorry.
mission
Sigil.
sending out original of Jesuit. Yeah, so
And yeah,
Bruce,
you gotta have your Enochian language, don't you? Huh?
yeah. Which is just a ciphering, yeah, which has been used
Right.
today by secret services and secret communities, of course. It's just a ciphering of things. Yeah.
Well, Enigma, yeah, exactly.
Yeah,
Same
sure.
thing.
Yeah, Enigma means riddle, I think. It's just also
Yes,
Greek.
of course. Of course, it's a riddle. Satan's all about.
Yeah. So you see
Hiding
that 5090s mission means sending abroad of Jesuits, and then in 1962 it means a team on the ground responsible for directing a spacecraft. Yeah, but then in 1962 that original meaning was always 300 and more than 360 years old. And it's always the original meaning which is the correct one, yeah? JPL, yeah, so Jet Propulsion Laboratorium or Jack Parsons Laboratorium, Lester Crowley. Yeah, you got it everywhere. I'm sorry. You see that it's all around. We crisscrossing everything. You see, Crowley was on the page of Sgt. Pepper, the Beatles, and all the stuff. It is a big agenda. It has nothing to do with the truth. It is just a big agenda. It is Hollywood. It is deception. Ars Magna Lucis Ambre. Oh yeah, this wonderful invention of the television. Yeah, if you got a very, very beautiful actress, then everything is possible, huh? This is Sharon Tate, an actress, an US Army asset. Her father was Army intelligence. She was raised, among other countries, also in Italy. And she was pregnant, and she wanted out. Yeah, and then she were officially murdered. And I don't buy it for 1 second. Yeah, thanks, Miles Matthews. And I'm not agreeing with Miles Matthews on many things, but that I agree. And we know that her former boyfriend, Jay Sebring, allegedly driving a Porsche 911, yeah, Angel of the Bottomless Pit, he was having as a sigil of his company an Ankh, which is also the Rose Cross. Yeah, and it's very interesting because Rose Kennedy is also Rose Kennedy, Rose Cross, very interesting, which is also, among others, a symbol of the Venus. But don't think it is a symbol of the Venus, because Venus is only a Roman goddess. But look at this. This is a Babylonian goddess called, Lilith.
Ishtar.
Lilith / Ishtar, yeah, who wants to have children as sacrifice and all the stuff. Yeah, what does she wear here? Yeah, could it be that it is quite resembling also a female womb? Yeah, something like this. Yeah, she's in for fertility, and no wonder that she's winged, huh? Wow. You know that America also means the plumped serpent? By the way.
Oh yeah, that's right. And look
Yeah.
at the owls to her left.
Look
and
at the
right.
owls, yes. Uh-huh.
And underneath that, what are those?
It should be lions, I think it was.
Lions. Okay.
Yeah, Lion Babylon. You see the lion of
Yeah,
Babylon.
right.
Yeah. Mhm.
They're everywhere in Babylon.
Yeah, and so this your boyfriend drives a Porsche 911. It was a 911 ritual, and the other so-called victim here, Abigail Fowler, was driving a Pontiac Firebird, which is the bird, the phoenix, yeah, of resurrection. So they all resurrected magically. Sure, if you die in the first place, it is no problem to resurrect anybody, because it is no resurrection. It is just a forgery. It must be a coincidence that on a quite same day a Disney attraction opened called Haunted Mansion, but we talked about this also before, but it just must be a coincidence then, huh? So, by the way, last week I drove with my old vehicle on a German street, and in front of me was a Porsche, a quite new one like this. And I was just on a traffic, what is it, traffic
A traffic light, yeah.
a traffic light. I was just stopping at the traffic light behind that car. And I said, oh, come again. This is a devilish company. Huh? First of all, they called it 9/11 against for the angel of the bottomless pit. And then I said, oh, that's quite interesting. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9 by 2 means 18 bars. 18 bars vertically. Yeah, 666. I said, come on. I couldn't drive that car. Yeah, that is no wonder. Yeah, because this is not what maybe you think it is, but it's just a German press conference. Yeah, and in a German press conference where you have all these official lights being sold as the truth, remember Psalms 2:2, all the kings and the take counsel against God and his anointed. Yeah, you have also 18 vertical bars. Yeah, 666. So don't expect from the German government to tell the truth. It's just the same 666 here in the Porsche. And I do not think that 1 out of 100 people who are driving a Porsche think about counting all these vertical things and know what 9/11 really means. Yeah, but the Porsche company also has been established in Germany, especially from the Nazis in the Third Reich. Yeah, so it's a very, 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 very into the Mammon family. Yeah, let me tell you this. So it is no wonder they all play by the same rules. They all play by the Mammon, by Lucifer. Yeah, and so this is just Hollywood. Yeah, so these people are really smiling. Yeah, while doing so as if they would have died. These are all actors. I'm sorry. Yeah, this is a hanged man means resurrection. Does not mean dying. Yeah, and this is Patty Tate. On the 25th anniversary of the Tate murders, this is Patty Tate. And this is not Patty Tate, because Patty Tate also is a fabrication. That is the same person as having here the rope around her neck. But now, wonder how that could have happened. She's not pregnant anymore, and it is more than 25 years later. Or 24 years later, 25th years. Yeah, so 25th years later, yeah, so on the anniversary, she said, oh, now I'm coming up and now I'm pretending not to be Sharon Tate, but Patty Tate. And people say that, oh, she looks a lot like Sharon and even sounds like her. Because, of course, people do not question everything. Somebody came up and said, okay, because it is her. Yeah, but 306 say, oh, yeah, she looks a lot. And out of 73 out of 300, they have a quiet suggestion that it may be not her. It could be Sharon, but she had her nose changed. She wanted to get out. Yeah, you don't get out, yeah? You can never leave. Yeah, you only have to play by the rules. So 25 years later, they called her up and said, Patty, could you play Patty? Sharon, could you play Patty on a television show? And she said, okay, yeah, sure. I'm retired for 25 years, but I can do that with a little bit of makeup and a nose job, and a little bit of artificial eye covers or what else. Yeah. This is all that is a patty, for example, means something baked in a small pan. So they just baked a puppy, so like a Barbie doll. Yeah, so Sharon is out. Yeah, Sharon has been died. So officially now we know. Now we need somebody else. Yeah, so my. Yeah, so Patty Tate. Yeah, Sister Sharon was killed by Manson family. This is a total fabrication, in my humble opinion. Here, I'm sorry. And somebody came up with a very interesting comment. I was in prison with all three, so meaning the Mansons. Wouldn't say I knew them well, but Susan seemed creepy and manipulative. Even on her deathbed, she was involved in lots of church and therapy groups, but I thought it was all for the parole board. I would say that somebody who's doing comments here, maybe there are also some bots. I do not have to believe the internet. Yeah, maybe these are bots or these are just paid actors or crisis actors. I don't believe anybody. Yeah, Patty is recalling, yeah, the last day I remember with Sharon, it was the day before her killing. We were at the pool, she was having a nap, and it was so heartbreaking because I could feel the baby on her stomach, Brett. On her belly, to try to, I could feel the baby moving. Yeah, so you see that they are all liars. They are all liars. But you see that for the majority of people, when there is a woman who was pregnant, who was killed, and was having a baby or not, you see that they all will cry out of an instant and say, Cheryl and Patty were so amazing down-to-earth people. No, they were U.S. Army assets. And they are liars. What a shame that the killers got to live while their victims lay in grave all these years. Patty was a loving person who went through so much. I visit the grave often. They are at peace. Manson awaits hell. And that is the comment that he gave. Yeah, so I'm sorry, but you think that your opinion is the truth. I think that my opinion is closer to the truth. But it is opinion. It is not the truth. You don't know if there was a loving person just while somebody is appearing on the screen. I visit the grave often. I'm sorry, maybe you should take care of your own loved ones more. I'm sorry to say that, but sometimes I have really a hard time looking to all that comments. So, that was a Jesuitical thing with all the Jesuit Jay Sebring, Jesuit Patricia Krenwinkel, Jesuit lawyer Irvin Kanarek.
Oh yeah, Michael, let me back that up for you. You know, Jesus said, let the dead bury their dead.
Yeah.
You know?
Mm-hmm. What I want to say is that everybody has an opinion, everybody's influenced about television. If there is a crying mother who has lost her child or anything like that, then people will say, oh, that is such a pity. But you see, that is television. That is Miranda Prozos. Yeah? That is Ars Magna Lucis et Ambre. That is not the truth. It is just a meaning to brainwash you or us. And so therefore I think that Miles Matthews has a prolific point in that the Tate murders were a false flag. It's just a Jesuitical controlled thing done by Rosicrucians, Freemasons, Secret Service, etc., etc. You see that after all, she is just as an actress as Bruce Lee is. As Marilyn Monroe is. And Jay Sebring made that funny quote, you will best benefit yourself by keeping an open mind and forgetting most of what you have learned in the past. And that was my initial spark into beginning the session. Yeah, you will best benefit yourself by keeping an open mind and forgetting most of what you have learned in the school. Woodstock, for example, happened a few days after the Sharon Tate ritual, 6 days after. Yeah. Was just also controlled by the same people. It's a publicity stunt. Took part in 6 days after the Sharon Tate ritual with mind control singers and the music industry to normalize hedonism, drug abuse and all the stuff. Yeah, sure. Woodstock was a media ritual. Most acts played also on the Monterey Packed Pop Festival 67 organized by John Phillips and Lou Adler. Yeah. Always the same people. Woodstock, with the bird. 3 days of peace and music, 1969. With the false peace symbol, by the way, with the broken cross, but who knows, who cares? Yeah, they're all in for money and, having a good time. Yeah? Do you know that is an army project as well? Because the army flew in from Woodstock with helicopters. Do you think that is a regular, usual, standard operating procedure that you support any music festivals? In Woodstock, in the dirt, with loud music, Jimi Hendrix? Yeah, this is the flag of the U.S. Armed Forces. Just by coincidence, a cord here looks like a snake, yeah, and an anchor and an eagle, no? Roman eagle, symbol and meanings. Yeah, come on. Yeah, so when I heard that there flew doctors in from the United States Army and medical supply and all the stuff, it was clear to me that it was just being managed by another hierarchy. And I'm not shy to call who it could be. Yeah, let's say it is a CIA on the lower ranks. Yeah, but maybe we should look a little bit higher up. Yeah, because it's very strange when at Woodstock Jimi Hendrix was playing, and where do we know Jimi Hendrix from in the Bruce Lee sessions? Wasn't he being killed accidentally by drugs as well as Bruce Lee was, and at the same time the autopsy has been done by Ronald Tier from Scotland Yard? What a coincidence then, Yeah, but maybe we should remember the positive aspect of Woodstock. I present you the Woodstock Jesuit Singers. There are a few among of us who haven't heard of the Beatles, immortalized as a cultural icon of the 60s. In fact, it is hard to believe that a mere 50 years had passed since their debut on American television. But those of us who grew up during that time, recent media attention marking the Beatles' legendary appearance on the Ed Sullivan Show in February '64. Yes. Watching the Ed Sullivan Show elbow to elbow with most of my 10 siblings completed on Sundays, which included Mass, of course, you know where that comes from, family dinners of roast beef and potatoes, and the inevitable scramble to finish homework before the show began. Where is that? The 17 Christmas show. I'm always wrapped in those treasured memories. I was reminded of the Woodstock Jesuit Singers, another talented group of musicians who, though lesser known, also appeared on a renowned program exactly 50 years ago at 8 p.m. on December the 20th. And of course, you can imagine what that is. Yeah, I have it highlighted here. I got it also on a big screen, or maybe you would like to hear them sing. Hallelujah, the Woodstock Jesuit Singers. But that must be a coincidence then, huh? 64. So you know that Woodstock has something to do with the Jesuits. Yeah? Is that enough? So then, if not, then you can do your own research. Then we skip to, from 1969, we skip to 1972, when Bruce Lee was in Rome for a short amount of time, defeating officially the creation-believing evangelical Chuck Norris in the Colosseum. Where else? Yeah, and Chuck Norris, you have to believe in. He is, of course, a grandmaster, although the Bible says that you shall call no man your master. And he's also having a strange habit of focusing on pentagrams. But what do I know? So Shakespeare said that all the world is a stage, and all the then the men and women merely are players. She was certainly right about that. That was a very cool comment here. Huh? Mm-hmm. So that is BS here, that is repetition. Didn't we talk about The Shot in the Dark recently from 1964 having quite a resemblance on a Kennedy assassination? Haven't we talked about the strange fact that the producer Carlo Ponti was advising his wife Sophia Loren to drop out of the stuff? The script was being done by the Jesuit William Peter Blatty, who did also The Exorcist, and the producer of it was then Blake Edwards, who was a protege of Tom Bleecker. Now, look at this strange connection here. This is from Joey Cheng. Joey Cheng says about Bruce Lee, that Joey Cheng and King Hu go to Italy and talk to Carlo Ponti about a collaboration of movies. Yeah, and that is the same Carlo Ponti, which is described here as being the husband of Sophia Loren, who dropped out of the Jacqueline Kennedy spoof A Shot in the Dark. Interesting, huh? So it's just a small word. There are only a few actors and a few producers, I can tell you. So therefore, you see that Joey Chen was in contact with Carlo Ponti in Italy, and Carlo Ponti's wife is Sophia Loren. Yeah, so it's such a small word. I don't believe anybody anymore. Yeah, I don't believe anybody. Yeah, I was reminded in the case of Bruce Lee of a movie that I haven't got a track. And I do not know, Brett, shall we just move on and later cut this session into two or what?
Yeah, move on. Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
I was reminded in the case of Bruce Lee, maybe it has not only something to do with The Man with the Golden Gun, 1974, but with the present 007 movie, which was published just a few days short of Enter the Dragon, or let us say The Death of Bruce Lee. So the last movie that Bruce Lee could have seen would be Live and Let Die. Wouldn't that be a great theme for the Just Bruce Lee case, Brett? Live and Let Die. Because look at this consequences or coincidences here. In Live and Let Die, Mr. James Bond, not China James Bond, being Bruce Lee, but James Bond now, Roger Moore, meets a solitaire, a beautiful tarot reader, who has the power of the Obeah. This is sorcery also coming from, I think it was Hawaiian and African descent, and can see both the future and remote events in the present. I was reminded at Game of Death when they show the tarot card 30 about death. But, of course, that could also be a coincidence.
Oh, wait a second. What's with this future and remote events? Have you ever heard of remote viewing?
Yeah. The CIA did some projects then, and also the Russians did.
Yeah. Yeah, it's really strange stuff.
Yeah, I made a German session about it a few years ago. Yeah. Yeah. So this is Live and Let Die, and this is Live and Let Die as well, with the death of somebody who has been bitten by a snake, obviously in a ritual. Huh? Interesting. When you go to the road of Tom Bleecker and the Russell's Viper, huh? Which is very interesting because the Russells were that Jesuitic family who were running the opium trade, but just a coincidence. So this film, Live and Let Die, 1973, the last film that Bruce Lee could have seen if he died on the July the 20th, this film is based on the real spy Ian Fleming's 1954 novel of the same name. The storyline involves a Harlem drug lord known as Mr. Big, who plans to distribute 2 tons of heroin for free to put rival drug barons out of business, and then became a monopoly supplier. Interesting, huh? Can you remember that quote of the scriptwriter of Enter the Dragon called Michael Allen, who said, "I stole from James Bond"? This is Enter the Dragon. It's not heroin this time, but it's opium. Yeah? It's opium. It's not heroin, but it's always a similar thing as in Live and Let Die, and there are more similarities as well. And it's very interesting when you think that Live and Let Die and Enter the Dragon all both were produced very, very similar time. How did Michael Allen knew what the content was of 007? That means that Michael Allen has influence or has just some ties to the Freemasonry people who are just setting up all these 007 movies. And then I think it comes close that what he's doing is just a Chinese ripoff of James Bond, and that he says officially, "I stole from James Bond." But how can he know when the James Bond movie comes out a few days before Bruce Lee's death, when Enter the Dragon has been finished filming for more than 2 months? See my point? They're all behind the curtain. They're all working together. So it's also this just a James Bond movie here with Enter the Dragon. It's nothing else. Yeah, because Bruce Lee is playing an agent, a Secret Service agent in that movie. He's just like a China James Bond. How should he know in 1965 when he wrote that letter to his beloved wife Linda Lee? Come on, I'm not buying anything of this. I'm just pointing the things out. Yeah, and in this movie, he's playing a Shaolin priest being hired by a Secret Service to just go undercover in Han's opium laboratories. And you have to believe it. And I don't believe it. So officially, he passed away on the 20th of July, 1973. Yeah? Bruce Lee quoted and said, "Everybody says I have to fight Ali one day, but lucky for Bruce Lee, or for whom else, he doesn't have to fight him, because officially he passed away." And it is the same politics in both cases. Ali lost his license because he didn't want to go to Vietnam, and Bruce Lee did not get his main pictures unless the Vietnam War was on his decline. At least not for an international American publicity. Yeah? So you have to think straight. You have to use your common sense. It's not like a finger pointing to the moon, which is not a quote of Bruce Lee, but it's just been ripped off of another book. But you have really to see. You have to question everything. Yeah, is that really original, or is that just to create a legend, a myth? So you have to question everything. Mathematics is very radical in it, and it says, okay, you see that there are so interesting stuff, because in that movie from Quentin Tarantino, Once Upon a Time in Hollywood, where Bruce Lee was portrayed as an arrogant wannabe, the name of the character who crushed him into a car and who's beating him is called Cliff Booth, as in John Wilkes Booth. Yeah, so they're all playing their part in that. Nancy Kwan, who been kicked in the head and officially had last dinner with Raymond Chow, also is coming from the Scots. So you see that everybody is in all the ties together. You see that I just don't want to mess around with it. Yeah. So you got here the legend Bruce Lee on his official last shot in Enter the Dragon. You see Bruce Lee 360. Yeah? He's all around. He's a dragon. You see, he can almost fly, yeah, because he's everywhere, in every direction. Yeah? You see only Bruce Lee. Yeah? And this is a cultural icon. This is a so famous picture. Yeah, but that is Hollywood. You see, the Enter the Dragon said, Hollywood Reporter said quite literally, Enter the Dragon cemented Bruce Lee as a legend. And I think that was the purpose for the Jesuitical agenda running behind Mr. Bruce Lee. Or Little Phoenix, Little Dragon, Tiny Phoenix, what else? Lee as a Shaolin monk recruited by British intelligence. You see, how much closer can it be to 007 then? My, come on, I don't believe anything. You see that I see all these people there, they're just trying to put the blame away. You never see any connections from Bruce Lee to the Jesuits. At least not in the mass media. Yeah, you see connections to the Masons, you see to the color orange. So blame it on the Freemasons as always. Yeah, you can also blame the moon ritual landing on the Freemasons, but actually it has been done by Rome, of course. Yeah. Yeah, so I have to question everything when somebody says, yeah, there's a famous athlete who died in front of the fans. Yeah, also these athletes or wrestling and all the stuff, these are actors. Yeah, so these are no real fights. You know, they have been talked about this before and the outcome is quite clear. I make this move and you make that move and then you pretend to be unconscious and what else. I do not know what the truth is. I know that we're living a life full of deception from the television. So I do not know if it was suicide or it was murdering his freshly married wife.
Oh, just a misspelling is all. Knowing. Knowing. That's all.
I'm sorry, yeah.
That's it. Oh, but listen, this is good. You said, you are not going to believe it. You're not going to believe it. You're not going to believe it when I tell you, when I show you this. This is the session. Right now. What you said was true. It's coming together right now.
Okay, then
okay, we take a break, but I had to tell you that.
Okay.
Okay?
Okay.
It really is coming together right now.
In the case of what's that guy called? Help me out.
James Bond movie?
No, this is Game of Death. The reporter who reported James Dean, not Hugh McBride.
Gig Young.
Gig Young. Ah, thank you. Yeah. So that in the Gig Young case, you can also assume that he was an actor, and if it was suicide or that he was just murdering his freshly married wife, and later then he was making suicide because he was alcoholic, is one case, is one possibility. The second possibility is maybe it was a publicity stunt or he knew too much. Maybe about the real death of Bruce Lee. Nobody knows. I can't tell you, but what I can tell you is that these are all actors, and you don't have to believe anything they do. What really amuses me is in the Game of Death when it is about that Bruce Lee takes on the underworld. Sure, one guy is taking on the underworld. That character here, Gig Young, tells the doctor, a new identity has long been taken care of. And I think... yeah, so they're talking about a Bruce Lee spoof, mock-up. And he goes on into telling you that a public funeral, open casket, after all, he is a celebrity. That is what actually happened in the case of Bruce Lee. So what is fact and what is fiction?
And this is Game of Death.
This is Game of Death, yeah.
Oh, man, that movie is so
horrible. Yeah, but don't worry, John, it will be a very believable funeral. Of course it is a believable funeral because it was the official funeral of Bruce Lee. But who died?
They just tell you openly.
The question is, what is fact and fiction? I can tell you these are all actors and that these are all liars, therefore. Yeah. So I'm not so radical than Miles Matthews on his page and said that he was gay and was a Jewish actor that he faked his death. I don't know. Nobody knows actually for sure who was not involved in that case. And I don't think that he is actually necessarily being gay. That is not the right thing to do, I think, to go into somebody's intimate details, but as far as I'm concerned, it is also not, it is a little bit too easy for me to go on the road of Miles Matthews. I can tell you the reason, because in his humble opinion, every death has been faked. From Lincoln to Kennedy to Elvis Presley to Bruce Lee to what else. I think that he is spot on in the case of Sharon Tate, but that is not an automatic in itself. Yeah, so that is just every time all over the place exactly the same. What I just want to try to put into context is that every theory sounds totally radical in the beginning, and then when you dive deep into this, you've been totally frightened about all the things that you see. I had an encounter today with somebody, and he was just listening to a conversation I had with another guy about genetic manipulated food, and out of a sudden that huge gigantic guy, so let's say 300 pounds and 6'4" or so, came into bursting our conversation and said, "Hey, enough of that nonsense, your conspiracy theories." Yeah, because he could not stand it, because I think that he's mostly on McDonald's food and all the stuff, and he does not want to know, he does not want to hear, because that frightens people. And I think that's also the case in the Bruce Lee, American history and all the stuff, that frightens people. You see that they are very, very relaxed when they just switch on the television and they hear the official narrative and they believe it, because it absolutely cools them down. But if somebody starts to question everything, then people have a bad sleep out of a sudden. And I think that's what the problem is in all the research, that people don't want to hear that. They don't want to hear the truth, because that means that they have been sold a lie throughout centuries, and that is really what not only PPP them off, but really scares them. If you start with the moon landing BS, then people have to question everything else. Because if that big hoax has been sold as the truth, even in our textbooks and our school books, yeah, then what does that tell you about our conditions in the universities? So, Miles Matthews, switching on again to Bruce Lee, more likely Hong Kong is a Hanseatic seaport, yes, a fragrant harbor or Phoenician center like City of London. Yeah, of course. Of course. Of course. I found a very interesting video which points out that the Bruce Lee visit was in 1973. So during the making of Enter the Dragon, out of a sudden, I thought he had a busy schedule, but he had a time to take time to participate in a prize award of the school festivities in his alma mater, Saint Francis Xavier College in Hong Kong. How nice of him, huh? Brother Gregory, giving an interview in 2015, recalled the memories of the days with Bruce Lee. Quote, "It was every day morning after breakfast. I came out to the balcony of the school on the 3rd floor, and I looked down there and I saw somebody doing pull-ups. And I was counting sometimes 1, 2, 3 and reached 50. Bruce was doing all these pull-ups on the bar down there. And after 50, I usually stopped counting, but Bruce continued to do pull-ups beyond 50. Actually, it's really my first acquaintance with Bruce. Then I learned more about Bruce, and it's that he's from Brother Ken, who took him into our school. He transferred from La Salle to our school. He did well and would be a happy guy." Sounds right, huh? But it continues. Bruce Lee get his first prize in life from Saint Francis Xavier College. So the first, when he was still 17 years old, he got a prize for beating somebody else in a boxing match. Yeah, so the Jesuits trained him, he encouraged him to do a career in school, in sports, in boxing especially, and he gained his first prize. So that is a big, big, big support when you are 17 years old. A signboard with photo and text introductory by writer Chip Tsao is attached to the exterior wall of the school premises. This is one of the 6 locations of the Bruce Lee Way, a memorial tree signifying his connections to Hong Kong. The exact spot is the school toilet where his fighting skills were first recognized. So there goes everything down the toilet. Yeah, that means he's a hero of the school. He's Bruce Lee. He was been Jesuitically trained. You see, they recognize him as one of them. Yeah, he went to St. Francis Xavier College, Bruce Lee. Which is very interesting, because if you see that the identity card is here 1785335, I don't count any numbers, but look at the date of birth, 27th of November 1941. which is the wrong year. So I have to question what is right and what is wrong. I don't know. I don't care, because I know that Bruce Lee mainly is an actor. He had skills beyond belief maybe, but he still is an actor. He was a child actor and later on he became a world star as an actor. Huh? During his school life in Saint-Farcieux-Xavier from 1956 to 1959, so after James Dean has officially passed away, Bruce had acted in 5 movies, including The Thunderstorm and The Orphan. So he was a celebrity in Hong Kong. And then they have supported him with boxing. Sure, he's the 4th one from the left here with the big glasses. And of course it's a Jesuit school. So what do you think? That if you got some skills and you want to beat up every other guy who's in front of you, what do you think? That serves well a 16-year-old, I think. So when it comes down to his official funeral, which has been depicted in the Game of Death, then you see Brother Edward, Brother Jaggery, Mr. Chan together with older school students paying last tribute to Bruce Lee. And if anybody knows what's really behind the 20th of July, I would say you should have asked these guys. But this all is not a coincidence. You see that in Live and Let Die, you got a solitaire, a tarot reader, and has here, of course, a serpent as a third eye. Yeah, so you know exactly where she receives her messages from. Especially when she is dressed as a Whore of Babylon type, archetype. And don't forget that the name of the Vatican's clandestine intelligence service is Santa Alianza, or Holy Alliance, which is the same as the title of the Time magazine, when Reagan and the Pope really conspired to assist Poland's solidarity movement. So, this is not a conspiracy theory, this is conspiracy practice. Between the United States President and John Paul, or let's say between the United States President and the Pope. So what shall convince me that it was the first time with Ronald Reagan? Maybe it was also a conspiracy in the case of Kennedy. Everybody tells about the conspiracy in the Kennedy, but maybe was there a conspiracy between the two actors of John F. Kennedy and the Pope? Who knows? Because the Pope itself is also an actor, in my humble opinion. On the 13th May of 1981 in St. Peter's Square in Vatican City by Mehmet Ali Acha, Pope John Paul II was shot and wounded. Only if you believe that. And I don't believe it. Blame it on the Soviets, blame it on the Bulgarians, blame it on whoever you want to like to know. Yeah, but the problem is that Mehmet Acha and Abdullah Kath, both coming from Turkish Gladio. Gladio means the sword, and these are stay-behind armies of the European, of the Vatican, of course. So, you see here somebody who is pretending to be an assassinator, a murderer, and somebody who's playing the Pope, and somebody who's just falling down, and then, of course, miraculously will then return to office, and, of course, will forgive his killer. Huh? And you have to believe it, and you should believe it, because otherwise you would be totally scared. Yeah? So, Pope Ali Akça. And, of course, he's forgiving him. Yeah, because I suspect that he is doing fine, and it just was a publicity stunt. You have to believe it because you don't have any choice, because you think about free speech, you think about that you are a free civilian, you think about democracy, and you are totally in the illusion of history. If we know that media is controlled, if we know that history is controlled, if you know that school books are controlled, if you know that everything has been censored, if you know that there are the Jesuits behind it, yeah, then they can play off everything and you will believe it. Because nobody contradicts them. There is no Soviet, no Chinese, no any else government or press agency who's contradicting the story. Except us, of course, we are the heretics, and we say that, okay, he's the man of sin, and he's a follower of the father of lies, so he is full of lies, he is the man of sin. the son of perdition. So I'm sorry, why should he play fair? It's not his job. His job is to deceive the masses. He's done a wonderful job with the fish head of the Mitra head of the ancient Dagon fish worship. But it has nothing to do with the Bible, and Jesus Christ here presented as a trophy here. Yeah, because why? Of course, because the Romans have crucified Jesus Christ. How can you on earth believe in the lie that the Church of the Almighty God of the Bible would have its head center in Rome? Yeah, because you fall for the lie that Peter was in Rome, which he wasn't. Yeah, because you do not know this, or many people do not know this. You know that probably. Many people do not know this because they don't read the Bible. And they dare not to question the authorities, yeah, the experts. That's the problem with it. Yeah, you have to question all the stuff. Yeah, and you see, what a coincidence. When the Pope has been assassinated on the 13th of May 1981, there is an actor who played the part of the American president who is called Ronald Wilson Reagan.
Michael?
Yeah.
Michael, before you get to this topic, can we just back up again to the Pope? What I'd like to suggest to our listeners is they read Revelation 17 and 18, and it's obvious.
Mm-hmm.
When you take the context of Revelation, because the whole book of Revelation is a vision, and the Bible explains the how can we say it, the terms, that are in Revelation 17 and 18. And there came one of the seven angels which had the seven vials and talked with me, saying, Come unto me, come hither. I will show unto thee the judgment of the great whore that sitteth upon many waters, with whom the kings of the earth have committed fornications. And, bam, the inhabitants of the earth have been made drunk with the wine of her fornication. So yeah, there are two verses. It's actually all you need. Yeah.
Yeah.
So he carried me away in the spirit into the wilderness. I see you have several verses highlighted. Should I continue or?
Yeah, please. It's just the thing that you see that you will be rewarded highly by the harlot church. Yeah, you get money, you get fame, you get attention, you get riches, you get everything. You got a legendary status in this world. Yeah, but it's just all in vain in the end because it's just only this short life.
Well, that's just it. Vain deceit. I mean, that's what it's all about. That's what we just can't get enough of, Michael. It's just how much more vain deceit can it take? Haven't we seen enough?
Mm-hmm.
No, there's more. There's much more to come. There's much more to come because guess what? Those that live godly in Christ will suffer persecution.
Yeah, wait, when they play their big game of Ars Magna Lucis and Umbrae and they just project some Jesus figure in the sky or what else.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah,
right.
I think that this scenario is one of the most likely scenarios that they do. Yeah, maybe also the Virgin Mary, I do not know.
Sure, yeah,
but,
that's right.
But you see that... That's what our society does not know anything of the Bible because they cannot read anymore. They can only look at their smartphones. Yeah, they are totally dumbed down on purpose. On purpose.
Well, it's interesting. Excuse me. One of my one of the people I know here where I live that's really awake and watching a lot of these current events and talking about them all the time. It works at the local food place up here down the road, and she was telling me, it's really pretty easy that people are into their entertainment. So when you are really exposing the truth behind the entertainment, they don't want to hear it. they'd rather go to the entertainment and get their truth there, because that's what they're comfortable with, you see. They're not comfortable with the Lord opening their eyes and, actually coming to true repentance in their lives. They're not comfortable with that. Because guess what? They want those riches that they see on the television set. They know they can attain them, and they do. They do. And they know the consequences of turning away from the hand that feeds them, Michael. The mammon. They know. That's why we face such strict opposition in this world, Michael. And that's why the Bible never changes. It's the same as it was.
The truth never changes, actually, huh?
Yeah, right. Yeah, the truth never changes. Problem is, which truth do you want to believe? Because there's different versions of it all, right? There's the truth of those that accept the lie. And the Bible says, how can a man put fire in his bosom and not be burned? Mm-hmm. But, they get together in record numbers and they worship burning men.
Yeah.
And then they get flooded out in the desert.
Yeah, they worship burning men because they like to have sacrifices. They like to destroy life, even symbolically. You see,
yeah.
They worship death. They worship Satan.
Death. All that hate me love death is what Jesus said.
Yes,
it's just that simple. They take the simplicity away from Christ. They don't want simplicity. They want sophistication. So they get sophistication. And that's, my friends, what we have to endure. It's no different today.
I think it's just vain deceit, because all these people who are just or just in the Luciferian spirit, they just want to be worshipped themselves. They fall in the same trap as Lucifer.
Chapter 2, verse 1. Why do the heathen rage? Oh, burning man. And the people imagine a vain thing? Sure. It's in the end, it's all vanity.
Yeah. And especially young people are very, very attracted by this, because they think that they will stay forever young and forever strong and forever... what else? You see, this is just, of course, get them while they're young. You see that they are these people are very likely and very easy to influence when they are young, and so therefore they grab them in the school system. And then you get a reward instantly. Oh, you get a good rate. Oh, okay, great. Yeah, you can recall from memory when John F. Kennedy has been. Can you recall when we landed on the moon? Can you recall then? Yeah, blah, 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 blah. Oh, you got a A. Yeah? You got best grades. You can go to the university. Yes, you can study anymore in this secular science. And then you got, finally, at the age of 28, I had my own Porsche. Yeah, sure, great. Yeah, won't save you in the end, huh? Maybe will save you in the car accident, yeah. But won't save you in the end. In the end, only the truth makes you free. And I can't present the truth, because I'm too stupid, yeah? And I am just a fallible man. I am also a sinner. I can't present you the truth. I can only advise people to do their own research. And then if you do your own research and you know that this world is running on the Whore of Babylon or the harlot church, then you have to question all these events. And if you question these events, then you see the thin line running behind the curtain, which is connecting everything together. Because they are just in the script of the Bible, and therefore they have to play the game of Satan until the very end of it. because otherwise they would not be prominently in this life. So you can't make an exception. Oh, but this world-class artist is not in line with this. I'm sorry. It's against the Bible. And therefore, if either you believe the Bible or you believe man, and I prefer to believe the Bible, because I have a life experience more than 50 years now, as well as Brett has, and I have seen so many lies, and I have discovered so many so-called facts, which is just BS. And so, therefore, do not trust anybody, but put your trust in the Bible, put your trust in Jesus Christ as the only Savior, and not in any man telling you any story. These are all actors. They are being paid to do so. If this man would not be a replacement for Christ, which is not in the Bible, at least not in a positive way, yeah, so then he would not be in this position. Yeah, see, he's wearing a trophy around his neck. And didn't the Bible speak about we should not have any images which we shall worship?
That's right. Yep.
So the basics of all research must be the Bible, because if you don't know the truth, how can you see then what's the truth and what's the lie? How can you differ between the two?
How can you discern? How can you discern? Because discernment only comes through a very close study and prayer in the Spirit of Almighty God. And you got to have faith. It's so easy not to have faith. Look how easy it is to be faithless, to be godless today. It's so easy. Everyone's doing it. Gee, I guess I should join too then, huh? I just give up. Give me a break.
Most people do not ask the right questions. You have to ask a question: who came up with the idea that your children have to wear jeans with holes in it? Who are damaged, actually? Where does it come from? Nobody asks it. You see that one does it, the next one does it, and I want to be accepted in society, and everybody does it. Yeah, but who sets the trends? Who are these people who are printing all these texts, who are just being all these manuscripts? Who are these people? They are the same people as 2,000 years ago. The scribes and the Pharisees sitting in Moses' seat. So coming up to the next puppet is called Ronald Wilson Reagan, really an actor. Yeah, you know that he acted in Western. And now he's flashing, of course, the
Mano Canuta.
Yeah, you see, he's not a fan of the Texas Longhorns, but you see that...
Oh, and look what's above his head.
Yeah, that
pentagrams.
That is your stars and stripes. Yeah, then if you know your flag...
That is so fitting. That is so fitting.
If you know your flag, you know that there is no real democracy or anything else. Yeah. So he played the Killers with John Cassavetes, who makes an Antichrist moonshot with Mia Farrow, partner of Night of Martyr Frank Sinatra, in Roman Polanski's Rosemary's Baby. You see that all these people are connected together. Of course, these are all actors. These are all actors. He was born in 1911 as son of Knight of Columbus, Jack Reagan. How fitting is that, huh?
Well, you bring about I never seen this movie, Rosemary's Baby. Are you telling me Ronald Reagan was an actor in this movie?
No, he played in the movie The Killers with John Cassavetes, who is just connected with Mia Farrow in Polanski's Rosemary's Baby. But what I like to point out is that all these people, these Actors Guild and all the stuff, and he was the leading guy of the Actors Guild, I think it was. This just jumping around all over the place all the time, and that's why it's so hard to follow this. Yeah, I know, but you see, that is just minor information. The big information is that everything is just a big game, and these are just paid actors. And afterwards, after he has finished his Hollywood career, and he was really good and really believable in his roles, in his alter egos, they choose him for whatever reason. Might be that he was a son of a Knight of Columbus, and maybe also initiated in that as the next upcoming president. Problem. You become friends with Jesuits, and Jesuits are involved in all sorts of things you don't know about. You're talking about the mother of harlots here. Getting late here, so the advantage is getting more closer to your side the longer we do that session. you know.
Oh, finally waking up over here.
Yeah. Yeah, so, but this is John Wayne, and this is just one of his roles. You
Yes.
see, if I type in Ronald Reagan, let's say 1959, just an example, yeah, then he's playing another role. Then he's just the theater Ronald Reagan.
Yeah, that's right.
Yeah. So I do not care, but I know that these are just out actors. These people are trained to pretend to be somebody else. That's my problem with it. Yeah? These are trained liars. Every actor is a liar. He pretends to be somebody else. This is a clear violation against one of God's 10 commandments. Thou shalt not bear false witness. And these are being honored for that.
Yeah. You need to remember, Michael, not to bear false witness against your neighbor.
Yeah.
Because there are instances in the Bible where the saints do lie. Take, for instance, when, was it now? Oh, I'm trying to remember. Abraham's wife. Remember, she was really beautiful.
Okay, I see your point, yeah. Mm-hmm.
He had to lie. You know, someone else pointed this out to me, and he's correct. But the thing is that okay? Is it good to bear false witness? I mean, it's like false testimony then, isn't it?
Yes, for me, it's a clear violation of the commandment.
Well, and the thing of it is, you got to think about your neighbor, okay? And, you know, whether he be in Christ or not, if you love your neighbor, you treat them as family, basically. You should. Yeah, so bearing false testimony is a really big deal. It really is. It's a very big deal. But there are people that justify it. Just ask Anthony Fauci about it. He'll tell you all about it.
Yeah, that's the world.
Yeah, I mean, the world we live in today, it will never be the same as it was. Ever. It's changed forever. We don't even know what the real consequences are yet, but they will be revealed soon, I am sure. I can't believe all these people, they just go right along with it. Oh, yep, no problem. I'll take the jab.
Of course, you can imagine that he will get more money and more fame than he could ever get as being just only an actor when he is the American president. And I can assure you that he would never got the job of the American president on acting alone, but on being a member of a secret society. And so that is so revealing, and anybody knows that. But you see, this word is so dumbed down that they think that, oh yeah, he's a hard rock fan. Yeah, so he's a fan of Ronnie James Dio, Black Sabbath. Come on, you see, they have all the lies at their disposal. In Hollywood, he led the Screen Actors Guild. He was a member of Tau Kappa Epsilon, like Night of Martha Conrad Hilton. He played in Warner Brothers movie Sergeant Murphy with Mary Maguire. You see, where to start? You see, this is the cabinet of Ronald Reagan then. Yeah, this is just one example here. Come on.
Well, that's the thing, Michael, is Knights of Malta are a secret society, and they are worldwide, and no one knows about them. I never knew about them. I never, ever knew about them until I bumped into several people on YouTube.
Hmm.
One of them being was Alan Lamont. You know,
Yeah.
Hats off to Alan for the work he did at the time. I thought it was great. You know, the
Absolutely,
thing of
yes.
it is,
Yeah, absolutely.
he's connected with friends with another author of a book, Vatican Assassins, and I can't agree with that author.
Yeah, that's a problem in itself. You see that I don't recommend anybody, but I think that Alan Lamont's video was so spot on that I thought that, oh yeah, these are almost professionally done. You see that I don't know Alan personally, but I have to thank him for his videos. Actually, I really like them, and I still like him.
Well, this is the problem. You see, each of us have flaws, Michael.
Yeah.
None of us are going to be infallible here. The Pope claims to be infallible.
Yeah.
It's the office, when you really look at their doctrine, it's the office of the Pope that they claim is infallible, right? But I mean, you're talking about the office of the Antichrist here. What do you expect?
Yeah, but you have to see really straight. Yeah, you think that you are being a part of a republic and you have the right to vote, and they are all just the representative of the people. Yeah, and you see
they're playing their part to deceive you.
They are all actors, because you see that they are all most of them are part of a secret society. And so therefore they have secrets in front of you. Yeah, so they are hiding something from you. Council on Foreign Relations, Jesuits, Skull and Bones, Knights of Malta, Knights of Columbus. Yeah, where do you want to start? Freemasons, you see that. I'm sorry, that this is no democracy. Because these people have something to hide.
Oh, they have more than something to hide, but at the same time, they do show you what they're doing, and they do admit what they're doing. But when you research this,
and this
you have to look into the details. You do not get it on the mainstream, ever. You'll never, ever get it on the mainstream. It always has to be through your own research, and you have to have an attitude, well, I'm not going to give up till I get it right. It's the only way, in my opinion, Michael. You're just not going to get it right until the Lord shows it to you. You have to pray for it. And you have to pray earnestly. You can't just, say a quick little thing, because it's not in your heart. If you don't have it in your heart to sort this out, I'm sorry. You're going to be deceived. I'm sorry to say it like that.
These people are all gathered around a professional actor. Yeah, these are all actors. These are producers, directors, and these people have an agenda. And it's so clear what's all about. It's just Rome behind it. And you see that from this picture alone. You see that. Look at this picture, and somebody should realize that it is not about Democrats and Republicans.
Well, this is the problem. It's a political means to a religious end.
Yeah.
The end justifies the means, right?
Mm-hmm.
So if we can use politics to do a religious war, then we gotcha.
You see, this picture when Ronald Reagan is waving his hand is not by accident, I think. Because you know what happened after this picture has been shot?
He got shot with a gun.
Yeah. After this picture has been shot, Ronald Reagan officially has been shot. Yeah. And I suppose that is not a coincidence. I suppose that this waving with the hand, it's a signal like the infamous Umbrella Man. Because, somebody has to give a clear sign, okay, now everybody is, please get into position. It's just my amateurish research here. But I find it highly strange that an American president has been assassinated with a Röhm RG-14 double-action 6-shot revolver in a, of course, 22 caliber. How another caliber could it be? Yeah, from a German company. And that gun, RG-14, is known as a Saturday Night Special, a generic category of a cheap, low-quality handgun. It's like a requisite. It's like a... What is it? What's the correct expression of it? A prop gun, no? Prop, is it?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, a prop gun. Yeah. So I have to suppose that everything is correct in the case of Kennedy, that he was wounded, that another one was shot and paralyzed and all the stuff. And I have to believe it because media tells me. And all these people who are then playing a part in this assassination of Ronald Reagan, not Robert Kennedy, of Ronald Reagan, they of course are totally honest because on the other hand, they all are Secret Service. There is not one civilian here. They are all just playing their part, and they are all just having a job right from the state government or the state of the United States. And you have to believe it, that it's just occurred that an actor who plays a president has just been shot in real life.
I forget, where was he when this happened, Michael?
Okay.
There we go.
He was shot by John Hinckley outside the Washington Hilton. Also struck were also these people, right, of the margin of death in George Washington University Hospital. He recovered from a broken rib, punctured lung. Later, Reagan came to believe that God had spared his life for a chosen mission. What else do you need to know? What else do you need to know?
Oh, man.
Yeah, so outside Washington Hilton. So Washington, D.C., District of Columbia. By a certain John Hinckley. Wasn't he also been related to the Bush family? If I remember correctly. My. Come on, you see that this is just... I don't believe a thing of it. He was obsessed with Jodie Foster. Yeah, he wanted to impress Jodie Foster by assassinating the American president. You see that? If you believe all this stuff. Yeah, he wanted to impress another actress. Yeah, you see the pattern? Yeah, he wanted to shut an actor while at the same time impressing another actress. Yeah, sure. You believe it. If you just believe your television, your as magna lucis in ambre. Yeah, I don't. He collected material on the assassination of JFK. He wrote to Jodie Foster, I've left you dozens of poems, letters and love messages in the faint hope that you could develop an interest in me. Come on, you see that I don't give a peep of that. You see, if somebody really thinks that you're using that kind of a gun to assassinate an American president, yeah, sorry, I don't think so. I don't think that somebody would pull the trigger to impress the actress. Of course, he must be insane, and that's the same thing that you said. It's the same insanity in the case of Lee Harvey Oswald and all these actors. Yeah. Nowadays, you know that Lee Harvey Oswald was CIA, huh? In 1963, you didn't know it.
The problem is, Michael, you know, growing up in the States here, growing up in the States here, I can vouch for it personally. It's really not hard to imagine someone being that far out of their mind because it's very common here.
Sure, but you have to see the similarity because in Ronald Reagan case, he was been assassinated in Washington. I think we can agree on this. Yeah, so I just get back to Ronald Reagan. That was on March the 30th. Yeah, and so in the same year, out of a sudden, the Pope was having an assassination on the 13th of May. Yeah, so it is close 6 weeks later. Haven't we learned about this Holy Alliance, about these two guys who are conspiring and having an assassination attempt? No, sorry, I don't buy this. So much coincidences. I don't have to buy it, you see. I know that this is a controlled magazine. Time means Saturn, by the way. And it's been controlled by Knight of Malta. So what's the point? What do you want to reveal as a researcher when all the information that you get is restricted and is fraught right from the beginning? I don't know what happened there, but I have a highly doubt that it happened this way. And then, a few years after, 1993, yeah, so Mr. Lee, Brandon Lee, died in the movie The Crow, Crow Lee, yeah, with a 44 caliber, of course, because 44 resembles the Phoenix ritual of Aleister Crowley. So where do you want to start?
Well, you pointed this out in one of the last sessions.
Yes,
very, very clearly, and it's just obvious. Hangman's joke?
Yeah, Hangman's joke. Yeah, that's why I do not spend so much time on Brandon Lee at the moment, because I just want to end the script.
It's not worth our time.
It's not worth the time. But you see that
No.
if I got another researcher called Miles Matthews, for example, he says, I'm tired of this. According to the Wikipedia page, Bruce's son Brandon is said to have died on March the 31st, 1993 at 1:03 p.m. Remember that Bruce is said to have died at 11:30. Lots of 3s and 1s here. Yeah, and 13s as well. This page notes that both father and son died before finishing their last films, Game of Death, haha, and The Crow respectively, and in the former Bruce character receives a fatal gunshot wound, while in the latter Brandon is said to have died of a gunshot wound to the belly via a prop gun loaded with a blank improvised from a live bullet. Whatever. They were so strapped for time and cash on the set that they couldn't be bothered to follow the normal safety protocols, instead jerry-rigging some dangerous-ass semi-live ammunition, just like Alan Baldwin, who is an actor too, and who officially shot someone else too. Elsewhere, we read Brandon was engaged to Eliza Hutton and was to be married to her 2 weeks after his death in Mexico. He was supposedly killed filming the last scenes of The Crow. Sounds to me like he faked his death before moving to Mexico with Eliza, much as Miles pointed out how Bruce Lee's friend Sharon Tate played along with the Manson Theater so she could retire and have her baby in peace in another country. If you look up Hutton, I do not know what this is here, it's noted that she kept a low... Elizabeth Hutton. If you look his alleged official fiancée, Eliza Hutton, it's noted that she kept a low profile after Brandon's death and that she remained close to Sharon and Linda Lee, who to this day consider her part of the family. And last, Brandon is noted to have waxed poetic and publicly about the transience of life and its preciousness before his death, so it all adds up to me and my gut, which is glutted with this nonsense. Eagle, right, looks like a phoenix rising from the ashes. I wanted to know what's up with our Rolls, who was also a steward, since Miles has talked about the importance that stewards have been in the skullduggery he researched. I meant Charles Stewart Rolls. Charles Stewart Rolls was a British motoring and aviation pioneer with Henry Royce. He co-founded the Rolls-Royce car manufacturing firm. He was the first Briton to be killed in an aeronautical accident with a powered aircraft when the tail of his Wright Flyer broke off during a flighting display in Bournemouth. He was age 32. Yeah, right. Bet he faked his death too. But remember, this Rolls-Royce is been related, according to research of Miles Matthews and others, to the family of Bruce Lee's mother. So what surprise that he died at the age of 32 as well as one of the ancestors of his mother, which is one of the founders of Rolls-Royce, and that he, Bruce Lee, wanted to have a Rolls-Royce. Can you imagine? You are really having a hard time when you see all these coincidences arriving here. Yeah. So somebody in research says, okay, yeah, the family of Rolls-Royce is related to the family of Grace, of the mother of Bruce Lee. So no wonder that he wanted to have a Rolls-Royce.
Yeah, that's right.
If that is correct. And one of them, of the founders of the company, he died in a plane accident at the age of 32, and Bruce Lee was dying officially at the age of 32. Of course, we leave it like that, this with Bruce Lee, because I can't prove it, and I do not care, because I know that Bruce Lee is only part of a bigger agenda. And you don't believe this? You have to look at this. This is Arnold Schwarzenegger, your Terminator governor of California, who forbid then the Bible and all the stuff in California. Can't remember it so closely.
Yeah, he gets together with the Pope and the Vatican to thank him for his encyclical on global warming, too.
And he was having fun in pool with topless, underage Nastasia Kinski and all the stuff. So in this Terminator 2, they are just smashing a truck in front of this, what would you call it? A bridge? Also.
Yeah, this is more of an industrial. This would be, what do they call these ways for when they get massive floods in LA or wherever this is? Yeah. They have these waterways where the water can just gush out in a big river, and it's not going to cause a flood.
Yeah, but
I forget what they call these
But
things.
in Terminator 2, when it's about transhumanism, all the stuff with Arnie Schwarzenegger in it, and I've seen that movie several times, I have to admit. He's just getting away on a motorcycle with the savior of mankind in in the back, yeah, which called John by, I think, no accident, yeah. And then the truck is crashing here with another Terminator in it, and it says here, caution 9/11. So there are certain things that they let you know in advance before some major thing is happening. Yeah, for example, also in Back to the Future. Yeah, Twin Pines Mall. And you only have to reverse all this, and you got 9/11. You got a 9/11 ritual, which has been prophesied in a movie close to 10 years before. And even more than 10 years before. And there are many references in Back to the Future to 9/11. But maybe
you
it's
have
just...
to invert the image, put it upside down, then it reads. You just turn upside down yourself, and you can read 9/11.
Yeah, please do not do this. Please do not turn upside down.
No, but seriously. It's
I know, yeah. Yeah, and so that is my problem, you see, that there's a hole in that theory, actually. But you see that, you really see that...
Oh, you're not supposed to show this.
Brett, there is a hole in that theory, which means is that if no mass media is covering this up, either the Indian, either the Chinese, the European, the what else, Spanish, the Australian.
You're looking at the Pentagon here, right?
You're looking at the Pentagon, where suppose that a passenger airliner has flown into this.
Yeah,
so
that's right.
Where are the engines? Right. Where are the wings? Where are the people?
Release that exposes the lie? It doesn't exist.
Yeah, but it's just a form of make-believe. We are in the land of make-believe. And you see that the media is totally controlled because there is no opposition to the official statement of the American government. So China is in it because they don't say that, oh, it's all fake. Nobody says that. You see that then the quote of Jesuitical General Tamburini from 70-20, see girl, I govern from this China, and not only China but the entire world without anybody knowing how I do it, it getting more and more obvious.
Mm-hmm.
That's my point.
Oh, I see.
That's my point. You see that in every school book, in every textbook around this so-called globe, yeah, you will see the same story about 9/11, most likely. Nobody is questioning it because nobody wants to mess with the Americans because they have so much air carriers and so much military power. You see? That's my problem, you see, that this is just movies, yeah, this is just fairy tales for grown-ups. But this is, of course, the lie, and this is your government. And not only your government, this is the entire world. You see that if somebody is putting off in India, there's a bomb exploding, or there's a what else, an epidemic, you have to believe it. Yeah? Because it's just part of the mass media. Nobody is questioning anything. Nobody is investigating anything. And I think that Watergate happened on purpose to create the illusion that there is independent research and journalists who are really brave and all this stuff. I don't buy it. Mm-hmm. Yeah, maybe I should have inserted it here. I totally forgot it. I just got to my mind.
That's good. That makes sense, Michael.
Yeah.
Sure.
Yeah. And so that's a problem with it. You see that nothing fits the official story, but they are claiming everybody who's just want to know the truth as a conspiracy theorist, although they are the conspirators, according to Psalms 2:2.
Yeah, right.
And it gets worse.
And that's the main problem, since people don't read and study the Bible and figure out the corruption in history. This is what you get. This is what you deserve.
And this is the same American flag that you find on the couch of Sharon Tate.
Yeah, an old friend of mine, a really good, close old friend of mine, used to say that. You know, I asked him, because I actually didn't know a thing about politics. Really, I didn't. I asked him, how come you vote for the worst people for president? You wouldn't want that guy in office. Why did you vote for him? Can you please tell me why? And you know what he told me? He told me it's because America deserves that president. That's why I'm voting for him. Because America deserves it. That blew my mind later on. At the time, I was like, what? There's no way I could have got where he was coming from, because guess what? I was in my 30s. Talking to a guy like in his late 40s who knows when he reaches 50, he's a dead man. He's got something called polycystic kidney disease. So by the time you're 50, you're dead. You cannot live. It's kind of a complicated thing, actually. But I just could never grasp that, until more recently. Why on earth do people vote the way they do? Well,
because they are trained to do, they are brainwashed to do so.
I don't think voting is even worth your time, sad to say.
If it would change anything, they would not have allowed it. You see, that is just another illusion. This is history illusion that you can do anything else. You see that now here in Germany, it's really extreme because they are accusing their own grandparents of being Nazis because, you could have decided otherwise. Yeah, sure. Then in the 1930s, if you decided against the government, then out of a sudden somebody's knocking on your door, secret police putting the gun in your head, and either you obey or just you get killed or just you get jailed or what else. But you see that this is all the indoctrination that is going on, that the young children do not know anything. They are just only occupied with their hormones and all their so-called stars and all this their smartphones. Yeah, that's a problem. They do not do any research. And they want to be part of the society. They want to make it big in the world, as everybody wants to be, who wants to be independent from their parents. So that is the best age to grasp them while they're young, is the age when they are just totally unaware of how the world is actually rigged. So this is my problem with it. You see that you have to question everything, and most of the people are just simply too afraid or do not know. Yeah, they don't want to do it because they just don't want to know the truth, because it's convenient to follow all the state rules and then to drive a big car and have a fancy life. Yeah, but that's not the thing in it. The problem is that everybody is lying to you.
Yeah.
And we are not talking here about one assassination with one dead. We're talking about here of a really most believable, we do not know what happened there, but Iraqi war, for example, war in Iraq, that's somewhere in Asia. You don't have to look it up, but I'm looking it up on my computer now. It says estimated violent deaths about 460 to 650,000. About a lie that somebody possesses weapons of mass destruction and could kill American citizens and all the stuff. Yeah, that's a problem I got with it. Yeah, and later on, Colin Powell was pleading for excuse and said, "Oh no, I'm sorry that I said that, and it was not proven. It was a misinformation by the British intelligence." So the Americans said that the British has misinformed them, as if the American had no secret service on their own. Sure. Oh my, oh my, oh my. And then you have the next problem. You see that they present you somebody as a boogeyman. Here is it Bin Laden, and Bin Laden has been known for having doppelgangers. Yeah, so who's the enemy then now? Yeah, of course. Oh, it's not Bin Laden, of course. Of course, how could I forget this? Yeah, so this is a German Mirror magazine. Spiegel means mirror. Yeah, and it's quoting from 2002 even, that the Iraqi dictator Saddam Hussein has representatives of at least 3 doppelgangers. According to research of the second German television, this man has been made similar to the president through operations. So they're even admitting you that there are at least 3 doppelgangers. So where do you want to start? How many doppelgangers are there in the case of Bin Laden, who looks this and look that and look this and look with a black beard, with a black gray beard?
You're talking about a lookalike.
A lookalike, yeah.
So how about Adolf Hitler?
Yeah, you can make your mind up.
When I was first exposed to that kind of dropped my jaw. I was just like, oh, gee, wow.
That could also be the case in the case of Kennedy, for example. You can have it both ways. You see, you only have to look for Bin Laden doppelganger at Google, and then you see hilarious pictures, but you see that this is not Bin Laden, the same Bin Laden than his and him, and these are all other characters. Sorry, guys, but you see, how many lookalikes do you want to have? And in the case of Saddam Hussein, so it's please don't take anything as granted.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, nobody knows if he's him or some other guy or Saddam lookalikes and with this beard and that beard. Nobody knows. Nobody knows. Yeah, and so that's also then my next problem, you see. Where to start? Saddam Hussein, last minute. Yeah. Saddam Hussein execution, last minute. Yeah.
This report includes graphic content.
So we do not talk about CNN, which is Catholic News Network or what else. Yeah, we're talking about Hussein faces execution by hanging. What have we learned about hanging? In a ritual. Yeah. So I'm not making any fun of anybody
right.
who has been hanged in real life. Yeah. But when you have learned that even the German magazine admits that Saddam Hussein has at least 3 lookalikes, that does not look like Saddam Hussein. So you can have it both. You can't have it both ways. You see that? Please do not believe these people. This is a video by CNN. You have 30 seconds left. And I can assure you, you won't see anything which really spoils your appetite. Yeah, unless that somebody is putting a cord around somebody's neck. Very carefully, of course. Otherwise it could hit somebody. Isn't it orange? I do not know. It looks like orange.
Yeah.
Maybe. I'm a little bit biased. Yeah. And out of a sudden this video stops. So, that is the great art of light and shadow.
Yeah.
So, there are many, many movies who are much worse than this. I suppose that you take this as a movie. It is just a movie. You do not know who this guy is. You do not know where that is. And you do not know when it happened. But you believe it. And as far as I'm concerned, I have read from the Pakistani Premier Minister, Benazir Bhutto or so her name was.
And he also had dealings with Omar Sheikh, the man who murdered Osama bin Laden. Now I know that having dealings with people does not necessarily mean direct evidence.
And later, then she was assassinated officially, that she said, yeah, the murders of Osama bin Laden. So Osama bin Laden is dead, but they have similar lookalikes, so the legend lives on, huh? It's like a big movie. You have to believe it. You see, these people are betraying other peoples to make war, yeah, which costs the lives of at least several thousand people. Yeah, and they do not care. All that they hate me, love death, the Bible says. And they have doppelgangers, and I found that picture so hilarious when somebody is just greeting somebody out of a hole, because officially Saddam Hussein had been discovered in a hole underground, that he was living there and hiding for somebody. You see, you can have stories. You are dealing with actors. You are dealing with a script, and these people, they do not play fair. They are just mocking you. And it gets even worse, because your own president actor called George W. Bush. A slideshow shows Mr. Bush in the Oval Office leaning to look under a piece of furniture. Those weapons of mass destruction have got to be here somewhere. He told the audience, drawing applause. So even if there is an official lie, yeah, and a mockery about a war going on.
Very important though. You know, this audience was a gathering of everyone, all the professionals from the media. They were all just loving it. And right before he started his entourage with all this, there was someone close to him that said, "Go and give him hell, George."
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, and that's exactly what we got too.
Doesn't that remind you of the quote of John Swindon? When it comes down to these, I'm sorry, not this.
Oh,
John.
sure.
Yeah, when he said we are intellectual prostitutes.
Yeah, that's right.
Our time, our talents, our life, our possibilities are all the property of other men. They pull the string and we dance. And we see that where is the difference between journalists and actors? They pull the string and they dance. So, come on, it's not funny. It's not funny in any way. If you are in Pakistan or Iraq or Afghanistan or where else, where it's war.
And what's even more sobering about that is how many years ago that statement was made.
Mm.
We're getting close to
and then you're going to
years.
vote Donald Trump, who said that he will defend the Roman Catholic Church. You are going to vote for Mr. Biden, for Kamala Harris, or for whomsoever. They're all in it. What you are doing with your vote is that you place your vote somebody else to take a stand for you, and you don't take a stand on your own.
Joseph Biden, a long-standing Catholic, is totally Jesuit-controlled.
Mm-hmm.
He probably has breakfast with the Jesuits every day, as far as I'm concerned.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, friends with Pope Francis, hello. And he boasts about it all the time. Constantly boasting about his friendship with the Pope, Francis I.
I just wanted to point out that these are no conspiracy theories. Yeah, these are events really setting them as if they happen and they're making fun of it. Yeah, so they're making fun of war. It's fun for them. What do you suppose to have a kind of a government then? And nobody is mocking that.
What they're doing is they're laughing at killing your children.
Yeah.
Because you send them off to war thinking you're doing the world a service.
Yeah, and think further, you see that if they kill their own civilians, their own population, children in a war, for their own purpose, their own children. Not to
mention what our war machine does over there to the people, the innocent people in Iraq.
Yeah, and how can you suppose that the decisions of the government then, after knowing this, yeah, when it comes down to your health, would be...
And what's even more strange, just as a side note, is that Iraq is the mother of Babylon.
Yeah.
What a better thing than to destroy all that history so people don't even know what Babylon is.
We have talked about that in one of the Science is a New Religion series, that actually American soldiers by accident trampled upon all relics and they have been destroyed.
Oh, by accident.
Yeah, sure.
Uh-huh.
Sure. Yeah, sure.
Right. That's what we're supposed to believe. It was an accident.
What I mean is
so
about...
Sorry.
Yeah, what I mean about the joke of George W. Bush and, of course, Skull and Bones and what else... is that have you heard any outrage of any government of Canada, of Mexico, of Spain, of what else about this? Oh, it was just a joke. Yeah, so media is controlled. You see it in these incidences here. Yeah, so there it is. Yeah, so pictures released from the execution. I didn't see any execution. What I did see is just the Jesuitical play, the theater.
Yeah, that's right. Yeah,
of a common criminal almost meeting his final moments. Yeah. Mm-hmm. Yeah, sure. Yeah, and then after having seen all this strange stuff, yeah, with all the actors and all the stuff, and you really think that is going to take place? This ritual here, this is hilarious. Yeah, you see, when the masks are good enough for the people and experts have to wearing a full dress. What does that tell you? At least it should tell you that the government is very concerned for all their own personnel, but does not care about the civilians. Because in any logical...
And not only that, it's supposed to instill fear in you.
Yeah, but it implies that you need to protect yourself with a full body protection suit. Okay? So why do regular civilians do not wear this protection suit?
Yeah, like you're in some kind of hazmat zone or something.
Yeah, so that actually sees that the government protects their own people, yeah, but they don't care about other people, even if you would believe this reality. You would have to question, why are they not only just wearing masks, but they have to be totally protected. You can get them by their own lies. But it gets more hilarious even. Yeah? Because this is the official picture of the central monitor room at China's National Biosafety Laboratorium in Wuhan. And you see that is only the age of age. You see? This reminds me of something. Not only the big art of light and shadow, or Miranda Prozos, or Intermirifica, that they own the entire media, but you see, look at the stairs upon to another room behind the curtain. They don't show you what is behind the curtain. But you know, Brad, what this reminds me of?
Oh, 2 pillars and the checkered floor.
Yes, and something
As
else.
above, so below. I don't know. Go ahead.
The age of age, the holy of holies.
Oh, I see.
This is a temple of your scientifical belief. That God did not create anything, but anything came out of dead matter. Death created everything.
It's the exact opposite.
It's the exact opposite, like in artificial intelligence, which is hilarious. But you see that people, they believe it because they are not in the Holy Spirit, they are in the spirit of Antichrist, and they believe everything that the television tells them to do. George Orwell would applaud and said, okay, yeah, that's the installment of the Big Brother right away. But the problem is, who reads books anyways? And George Orwell also was affiliated with Secret Service. But what do I know? Because it must all be a coincidence when the coronavirus was in old comics of Asterix and Obelix, yeah? So Obelix, of the obelisk, yeah?
What?
Yeah, it's no coincidence.
Seriously?
Yeah. In the name of Julius Caesar and with generous sponsorship from Lupus Garum, I, Bifidus, pronounce the great trans-Italic race open, and everybody is applauding for the Roman soldier called coronavirus. But it must be a coincidence. Of course, Asterix and Obelix, the guy which is not portrayed here, but maybe I have to show it that people
But
really...
it's September 3rd, 2020? Or no, 9th of March, 2020.
Asterix and Obelix. Obelix is carrying a stone, yeah. Of course, we have talked about that, I think, in the Kennedy sessions. Obelix is carrying a stone. Where is the stone when you need him? Yeah, there's a stone. Of course, it's an obelisk. Yeah, therefore he's called Obelix. Yeah, so it has to do something with the people who are worshipping obelisk. Yeah, so you can really see that they know something before other people know. Yeah, that has been published in 2020. I have to look up when that episode of coronavirus has actually been printed. I think it was way before coronavirus. 2017.
Oh, okay.
So don't tell me that is a coincidence here. I don't believe it. Yeah, so 2017. Asterix fighting coronavirus issue of 2017.
Sure.
But of course you have then your fact checkers and I tell you, it has nothing to do with it.
Fact checkers.
Yeah, and of course, where is that coronavirus is, of course, the trans-Italic race open. Yeah, in the name of Julius Caesar, what do you need to know? Lupus, the wolf in sheep's clothing. Yeah. Come on. And it gets worse. You see, there's a certain author called Dean Koontz who has made a book, The Eyes of Darkness, with a window. So Bill Gates, hello Bill Gates, with somebody behind the window. I bought this book because I heard the story has a lot of similarities of what is happening now in the COVID-19 crisis. In reality, the story is far from it. Only the last chapters of the books, a virus is mentioned as well as the city of Wuhan in China. But that is no similarities of what is happening today at all, of course. Yeah. You forbid yourself to see any conclusions when in that book Dean Koontz says about a Chinese scientist named Li Chen defected to the...
Continue.
You see that this is a Chinese scientist. It has nothing to do, the corona has nothing to do with China, of course. As mentioned in the book here, defected to the United States, carrying a diskette record of China's most important and dangerous biological weapon in a decade. They call it the Wuhan 400 because it was developed at their RDNA laboratory outside the city of Wuhan. And most likely it has nothing to do with the city of Wuhan, where that so-called coronavirus has first been emerged from. And Wuhan 400 is a perfect weapon. It only affects human beings. And he says here, in around 2020, a severe pneumonic pneumonia-like illness will throughout the globe, attacking the lungs and the bronchial tubes or what else, resisting all known treatments. La 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 la. But it of course has nothing to do with the real stuff. Yeah, it's just the illusion of some best-selling author. Best-selling author. Remember, what is the condition to get famous and wealthy in the world? You get to know to the Bible. Yeah, you have to serve the Antichrist. Yeah, Dean Koontz. Yeah. Only the German Wikipedia reveals that the Dean Koontz was being raised as a child in the Evangelic Reformed United Church of Christ, but then converted to the Catholicism, Brett. But that must be a coincidence.
Sure.
Yeah. He says, I have translated it, Catholicism allows me to look at life and see mystery and wonder in all things which Protestantism does not readily allow. As a Catholic, I look at the world more mysteriously, more organically, and less mechanically than it had seemed to me before, and I have a more direct connection to God. Yeah, to which God?
Yeah, that's it.
Second Corinthians 4:4, the God of this world who has blinded the minds, huh?
Yeah, that's right.
Koontz had stated on his website that he used the 10 known pen names, and there are no secret pen names used by Dean. He adds, with his own identity was stolen by a person he had previously worked with professionally. Yeah, this person, this Dean Koontz, is all about truth, huh? These rituals, yeah, many people know before. Yeah, obviously, Asterix and Obelix coronavirus in 2017. And if you don't believe that, I think it is a very close resemblance to Dean Koontz's book of These Eyes of Darkness. Let's look it up when that book has been printed the first time. Published 1996. I think that's okay. I think that is more than 20 years before. I think that is a fair enough, huh? That's close enough. My. That people should accept a totalitarian world state with a herd mentality in the name of science, health, and safety. Yeah. Or, don't care, I'm just following orders. Sure. Yeah. The problem is that they can't do anything but to admit it, and they are just even boasting it, like the villains in James Bond, that every time James Bond gets away because the villains, they reveal their secret plan about world domination. It's the same here as the Jesuit general reveals the real agenda. Don't forget that this is not only an accident, it's not an accident, the COV ID 19. COV ID 19. Has something to do with the identity, huh? And that's Arturo Sosa. If you don't believe me, that's his called the Black Poet or the General of the Society of Jesus, which means he is an army chief. Yeah, he's not a civilian, he's not preaching about religion, he's about fulfilling and obeying and fulfilling your orders. Yeah? So, and I can only recommend you to a video also on my channel and most likely on Brett's channel as well. It's called From Tom Frass, The Third Temple Deception, that you really see that people want to deceive you if you are not full standing with your fundament, with your basement, with the foundation in the Bible. Yeah, you have to really see what is going on. You can't rely on us because we can't follow all the subjects. I think
you want to say fully grounded, Michael.
Yeah.
Fully grounded in the truth in Scripture.
Yes, thank you. Yeah. So you see, it's just a fear-based government who likes to control the people. You see that everybody tells you the end of the world is night. A huge asteroid will hit the Earth. Or Sir Bob Geldof said all humans will die before 2030. You see, you have to believe. Yeah, these people are all actors. Yeah, he's a singer, by the way. His best-known song is "I Don't Like Mondays," about a school shooting. I don't like Mondays. I want to shoot the whole world down. Yeah, and if you sing this, you see your mind is already set in the destructive mode. And Apollyon the Destroyer.
Where is this guy from? Where is he from?
Bob Geldof. It's from the United States. Bob Geldof is the one who has organized this Heal the World 1985 worldwide festival. And the lead guy from the Boomtown Rats, from that band, who has made that song "I Don't Like Mondays," and he is knighted, of course. He's Sir Bob Geldof.
Oh, gee.
Yeah. Now you see why. They're all in line with an agenda to spread fear. Maybe aliens are coming, meteors are crashing. What else? Yeah, so the Earth pole is shifting, and what else they want to tell you? It's climate change and yeah.
Oh, and you must believe it, yeah.
You must believe it. You see, these are all actors, yeah. You see, name politicians, name singers, maybe Sting, maybe U2, Bono. I don't care. Who else? Yeah. So Arnold Schwarzenegger, yeah. Bob Geldof in performing for the Pope, yeah. So all the people in the same agenda, all the people in the same boat, yeah.
Disgusting.
Name Greta Thunberg. Yeah, I want you to panic. Yeah, you see that in the end we come down to they all served Satan. Yeah, they're all in the Antichrist spirit. Today they call them angels and demons. Tomorrow they will call them something else. Yes, like artificial intelligence, aliens,
Greys,
angels. What else? I don't know. I don't care.
Yeah.
You see, this
The
is Aleister
boogeyman.
Crowley's slam which he received by the spirit which guiding him. Yeah, although he was not only a Satanist but a member of the Secret Service of the United Kingdom, so he was a spy and he was controlled by other people. But of course, he's presented to the world as the #1 Satanist. And then later on, after the Roswell incident and all the stuff, and when people claim about abductions of aliens and all the stuff, they come up with these huge foreheads, then depicting a huge intelligence of outer space beings. Yeah, it's always the same. Yet if you depict somebody with a great skull, with a big skull here, with a big brain, it seems to be a symbol for intelligence. Yeah. So what is it actually? Yeah. What's going on here in the world? I only can tell you that you have to look for the Bible. I think it all comes down that Satan wants to create alternative reality with artificial intelligence, with mandatory internet and all the stuff. New religions will rise and their followers will worship an artificial intelligent god entities. Einstein then is the old age because machines will be much more clever or much more capable of making calculations than humans are, especially when it comes down.
What the hell is this? Earth 2050?
Yeah, 2050, 2040, Sao Paulo AI gods. Yeah, you wait for this. You wait for this. So many people are just eager,
man.
People are eager to fulfill all these prophecies done in their movies called Terminator 2, Terminator 4, Terminator what else, Terminator Rise of the Machines. Yeah, they are just all pre-programming the people who are just going to the cinema. Ars Magna Lucis et Umbrae.
Yeah.
The Magic Lantern. It's just a magic lantern. This is reality in Germany. This is the English roboter Bless You, a blessing robot that can bless in 6 different languages. When it recognizes a person in front of it, it greets them in multiple languages, first asking them to select a suitable language on a touch display. You see, God is a ghost in a machine. The guest can decide if he wants to be blessed by a female or a male voice. Maybe a transgender person has a problem with that. Maybe there's a button for 60 genders, I do not know. Yeah. For example, when he needs a classical blessing, an encouragement blessing, or a travel blessing. Yeah. After the choice, he raises his arms and randomly awards a blessing from the chosen category with the real voice of a human being. All blessings are taken from the Bible, I wonder which, so that the question arises directly, does God's word also work through a robot? Yeah, if you don't know whose God's word is, huh? I'm not making it up, this is the end of the script.
Wow.
Don't believe anything.
Man.
Don't believe anything. Yeah? Can you remember when we talked about Kennedy that there was a CIA agent called E. Howard Hunt who said, we've always said, in an admiring way, that the Jesuits have formed the greatest intelligence service in the world and always have.
I wouldn't presume to trace the lines of authority within the Catholic Church, how they get their information, but they do. And we've always said, in an admiring way, that the Jesuits form the greatest intelligence service in the world, and always have.
And that is the second confirmation about the quote of Tamburini in 7020. That from Rome they are governing the entire world. And I even can prove it a little bit.
And false news has become all too common on social media. More alarming, some media outlets publish these same fake stories without checking facts first.
The sharing of biased and
false news has become all too common on social media.
More alarming, some media outlets publish these same fake stories without checking facts first.
Unfortunately, some members of the media use their platforms to push their own personal bias and agenda to control exactly what people think. And this is extremely dangerous to our democracy.
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 They know, as of today, and I say as of today at this hour, we have 33 confirmed positive tests for the virus.
Yesterday we had 22 cases. Today we have 33 cases, so it has gone up by 11. That brings, those are 11 new cases. 22 goes to 33.
As we sort through this here in Arkansas, today we have 33 confirmed positive cases in Arkansas.
As of today, we have 33 confirmed cases with Boston residents. We expect those numbers to climb.
As of this afternoon, we have 33 Pennsylvanians who have tested positive for COVID-19.
So as of this morning, there were 33 confirmed cases in North Carolina.
Evening to you. Lots to get to tonight. I'm Leon Hendricks. We want to start with new information into our newsroom. Within the past couple of hours, there are now 33 confirmed cases of the coronavirus in Michigan.
Good evening, everyone. Thanks for joining us for the news at 6. I'm Richard Gerhard. Karina Corral has the night off. More cases of the coronavirus were confirmed today in San Luis Obispo County, bringing the total number now to 33.
Right now, Georgia is reporting a total of 99 cases in 19 counties. That is 33 new cases from just yesterday.
Good afternoon, I'm Karen Swenson. More cases and more events affected. Here is the latest coronavirus news. There are now 33 cases in Louisiana.
You can see that it's clearly no coincidence, but the media is totally controlled. And on
right.
And on that, it is just your belief. If you believe us, or if you believe your satanic family altar and all the actors called Marilyn Monroe, Bruce Lee, Ronald Reagan, and the Pope, because they are all just acting. Nobody is telling the truth. So I have no sense in going endlessly in all this stuff, but please start reading the Bible today and not waste your time with videos and YouTube stuff, although it might be interesting from time to time as a distraction tool. I can imagine this, but you have to read the Bible first, and you have to go within the scripture, and you have to have the Holy Spirit, and you have to believe that Jesus Christ is the only begotten Son of God. Otherwise, you'll be totally lost in their deception, which is then called the image of the beast. So that's it. Actually, I can't add anything because I just wanted to short session. Haha. Yeah, so there you go. That's it, Brett.
Wow, Michael, I think this is brilliant, the way you put this together, Michael, as a surprise. And quite literally, it was as if all these months have just all of a sudden clicked together for me. And yeah, here we have this this picture of the media right before us, and they're all simultaneously reading the same thing. And that just goes to show you that they all want you to follow their Jesuitical role in deceiving everyone. So as long as you buy into that, you're never going to come to the conclusions that Michael and I have come to, because they're diametrically opposed to this viewpoint. And sad to say, I think it has a lot to do with the pride of life, the lust of the flesh. You know, the things the Bible specifically warns us about. And we're seeing it happen right before our very eyes. So maybe, you know, this is all happening to narrow it down to us, the few people that remain that oppose this viewpoint. This, obviously, if everyone goes along with that viewpoint, then it's going to be us against them, and they will need to eliminate any opposition to the Pope's plan for world peace. Because remember, in the Bible, it says very specifically, they say peace, peace, when there is no peace. Because this wasn't meant to be a peaceful life. And no, we're not living in heaven. Quite the opposite. It is hell on earth. They are raising hell on earth. It's part of their job. And they have no problem deceiving anyone because themselves are deceived. This is the main problem. It's a very painful process to come to awaken out of that state of slumber, but that's where we're at, Michael. I can't say it any other way. Can't see it any other way. It's just clear as a bell now. You know, when you hear something that sounds off, and you just need to take a break and go for a hike or something. Think about this stuff for a while. And, you know, I think you might come to the same conclusion Michael and I have come to. It just doesn't make sense until you realize it's all being done because the Bible is, the prophecies of the end times are coming into focus as we speak. And it's just becoming more and more clear to those that read and study their scripture and take directly their point of view from the Spirit of Almighty God. And I think that's all I can say, Michael. God bless, and God willing, we'll be back next time. Bye-bye.
The Jesuits formed the greatest intelligence service in the world, and always have.